just by some football. All my sports teams off-season go through withdrawals, 30 minutes to tip off. Like Rakim was saying, weak ideas give me ear problems. Sound like thunder and rain. I'm excited that you came on this journey with 3 of my friends. Defy life till we die and grow wings. Just a different perspective. Haters in every direction. Refuse to live my life based off your projections. Their expectations are lazy. My expectations are crazy. My lady defies me. Koozie, Brown, Brady, Jordan, LeBron, Aaron, Bonds, Mayweather, Ali Foreman. You get the picture, greatest ever born. I attack without warning. This is not around the horn. Them other shows whack, a lot of yawning. You really want to be the best, got to pay the price. We make winning look easy. Welcome to Defy Life. Defy Life.
Welcome to the Defy Life Podcast, brought to you by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. You can listen to us at godefylife.com, Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Blueberry, and Alexa devices. You can find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. Also, please check us out on Patreon and become a patron of Defy Life. This is episode 66 of the Defy Life Podcast. I am your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-hosts, Keyonne Small, Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick. How's it going today, Keyonne?
Wonderful, man. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Al, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going pretty good, bro. You know, normally this time of the night, I'm usually doing something with just joints, bottle, air freshener. I can't even say I'm doing that this week. I'm sitting in the mirror, looking in the mirror, looking at my audition haircut. What's an audition haircut, you say?
What is that?
An audition haircut is the haircut you get when your barber is not there.
Oh.
And one of his colleagues cuts your hair. And he did a great job.
Oh, word.
Word. Okay.
I thought it was going to go the other way.
I was waiting on bad news.
This is the cut. This is the sales pitch cut. Wow. This is the cut where it's like, yo, I'm trying to get you to sit in my chair.
Yeah, you going to Hollywood cut.
Yeah,
That's
I'm looking at it
this.
like, yo, my barber ain't never cut me this good. Like, man, please.
So somebody
the audition cut.
That's what I'm about. So the audition cut leads to the breakup cut.
It might just be the breakup cut.
Wow.
This is why the radio dudes don't like to go on vacation, because they scared that the person sitting in their seat they don't get called back to work.
Yeah. Wow.
That's why you shouldn't leave the shop.
Yeah.
You need to hang around the shop as long as the shop is open.
Well, kudos to you, new barber dude. Wow.
It's a different, because a lot of people are doing.
That's all right. Gerald Hedrick, how you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to be here for episode 66, as in the 66 books of the Bible 66. That you guys didn't seem to know last week.
Yeah. Damn right. So we got as many books of the Bible now.
You said 27.
Yeah,
I
said 27, and then Pooh went totally opposite. Pooh was like 3,614. Oh man, yeah, episode 66. This is, well, Bible's cool. I'll tell y'all, how I relate to church and stuff now. So I'm dedicating this to Alan Faneca and David DeCastro. This is number 66 for those guys.
All right.
So,
All right.
Yeah, man. As per usual, it's a running theme. David Ruffin, a.k.a. Thomas Stevens, a.k.a. Eddie Kane Jr., a.k.a. I show up when I want to, will be here when he wants to. So we'll talk to him shortly. Oh, man. So to get started, like usual, we'll check into some news tidbits before we dig into the meat of the show. First off, guys, we got a new look. We got some new digs, a new logo for the podcast. Y'all digging it?
Yeah.
I definitely like it.
No doubt. We've gone black. Once you go black, you know what they say. You got a dope ass podcast. Yeah, I'm feeling it. So as you all listen to this, everyone out there, you'll see the new artwork. So we definitely feeling it. Thanks to Pooh and his picky ass. So first thing I want to jump into, Papa John Schnatter. We all know his foolishness and fuckery that he's been doing over the last year or so. He's been pretty much forced out of the Papa John's as the face of the company. Of course, he's the founder. He still has stake in the company, but they've pretty much forced him out, removed him from all marketing material, removed him from their business offices, everything. So he's pretty much just a shareholder at this point. But what he agreed to after he got on the conference call at work and decided to drop an N-bomb, and they pushed him out the door. He agreed with it, got on a couple radio shows and said, I said it, I'm stepping down. Well, today, his lawyer chimes in and says, not so fast. He wrote a letter to, Deadspin actually found a letter. I guess the letter showed up to them that John Schnatter's lawyer sent to Papa John's Incorporated and let them know that he ain't willing to leave. He wants back in. Al.
Yes, sir.
What you think about Papa John, man? Other than this crappy pizza, what you think about Papa John wanting to drop N-bombs and take his office space back?
Wow. So the crappy pizza, I can't even mention that because I hate Papa John's pizza. But okay, since that's not on the list, some things you just can't say at the end of the day. They're just in 95% of the professions and industries in this country. If you're caught saying some words, it's a fireable offense. So, I don't even know why. That's just where we are as a society. And once it's out, if you're busted, I thought he did the right thing. Yo, I'm out. Bye. You caught me. I think that's honorable. That's what you're supposed to do. You get caught, man. Bounce. Why we got to argue over this? You know the deal. You know the rules. Be gone. I appreciate when people react that way. So now to do this, it's kind of come on. So that's just where I'm at. There's no excuse for it. When you get caught, those are the consequences. That's where we are in this society. That's where I feel. Pay the price.
Got you. Gerald, different question, because it was proposed to me from a white dude. He was like, so I guess if somebody says the wrong word or says the N-word, if a white dude says that, he should be shunned for life. What do you think about that? Think they should be branded for life and just what do you think?
I don't know about branded for life. I know that everyone likes to hide behind the thing that in our country, our First Amendment right and our Second Amendment rights, and everyone the right to free speech, and so everyone likes to hide behind that, and I kind of take to the adage of if you're not purposely trying to hurt me, or you're not purposely being derogatory, that's sometimes your remarks I'm not always looking to be offended, I think. But if you're definitely, it's crazy because I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago. I actually want to do a whole show on this, but this ain't the 60s. This ain't the 60s, man. If we live in a everyone has a camera, social media world. And that post button to get you fired, man. It'll, so I want everyone to know, and there's multiple examples of this, the dude that worked for the county that was the Hispanic family whose truck was blocking the road. And he jumped out and was calling them all kinds of names and stupid and ignorant and Mexican. And then he dropped that lovely piece of information. And I work for the county.
Yeah.
Well, on Monday morning, he no longer worked for the county. You know, or poolside Peter up here my way in Cornelius. Which is my parents actually live in Cornelius, so it was really crazy that I found out that happened there. But the guy at the pool that called the cops on the black lady, you know, and the whole altercation was on video. You know, he worked at Sunoco, and now he no longer works at Sunoco. So I'm not gonna say you should be tarnished for life, but I will say, man, if you out there spewing hatred, no matter what your beliefs or political stance or whatever you feel or whatever you have a backing with, man, if you out there spewing hatred to people and somebody catches you and they hit that post button, your company, your employer, whoever, you know, your sponsors, whoever, like whatever you got going on, they're probably not going to agree with you. So. That's just a warning to the wise.
No doubt. I mean, yeah, you know, I'd be branded for life, but in the moment, you're gonna get this work. Damn right.
Facts.
Different question for you. So, of course, along with this, of course, comes the usual, as expected. Well, we hear 95% of rappers saying the N-word. Why don't they get? Like, what is it about, like, why what is it about some white folks that just like can't accept that it's just one thing we can't say? Let's just be okay with that.
That's a hard question, because it's like so many people got so many opinions. But what I say about this whole thing is, to me, people say whatever they want. That's how I feel. I don't speak for all black people. I speak for me. People say whatever they want. I feel how I feel about it, but I don't have to go shop there. I wouldn't even if I like this pizza, I wouldn't eat it because of what he's doing. You know what I mean? But I think anybody can just say whatever they want, really. That's how I feel, and it's up to us as consumers or whatever to choose who we shop with, or where we spend our money, where we spend our time. You know what I mean? That we speak with our dollars. That's how it's always been, really. You know, the community, the people, we speak with our dollars. So, you know, you can say what you want. That's how I feel.
Yeah. And two things to me before we jump off of this. Like, one, if we would just buy black anyway, we wouldn't have to boycott.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if we made it a purpose and to like actually prescribe to group economics within our own, we wouldn't have to like boycott when this shit happens. Secondly,
it was crazy. Can we jump in on that real quick?
Yeah.
Not Morris Brown.
Morehouse.
Where did thank you, brother. Morehouse, they took Papa John's out of their cafeteria after this happened like a couple days ago. I'm thinking, why is Papa John's in there? Ain't no black. When you say about black, that's probably the first thing came to my mind. Like, damn, why are they even in there? But anyway.
Yeah, and speaking of which, that's what I was about to. Secondly, you know, my day job is affiliated with Papa John's. You know, I work for Pepsi, so Papa John serves Pepsi in their restaurants, right? So they're one of our clients. So of course, every time, you know, we have free pizza or they feeding everybody, it's Papa John's.
Papa John's.
I never eat that shit. For one, it's just 'cause it's disgusting.
It's nasty.
That shit is gross.
Yeah. And so I never get it. But it's crazy because, like, man, black folks will eat anything if it's free, right?
Yeah.
So I never get it. And you see, like, I go in the elevator, you see, you know, chicks with their plates, and you ain't gonna go get your pizza. Like, nah. Like, if you, would you? And that's what I say. Like, if you had to pay for that shit, would you buy it? Or you just eating it because it's free? Well, I don't really
Exactly.
like Papa John's like that, but I mean, it's free. I'm like, come on, man. Like, are we that hard up with, like, we got like 2 slices of nasty ass cardboard pizza?
Bread,
yeah. Like, I don't get it. Like,
I don't think it's so we hard up, Jay. I think it's just a thing where we ain't ready. You know what I mean? Like our mindset, our spirit ain't in the warfare, soldier, sacrifice. I gotta be different mentality to make a point. And you know, I think he said it, like, we speak with our dollars. And this is not even just for black folk per se, but just Americans, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know that if we spoke with our dollars, we spoke with our choices, people would be different, or they'd be out of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the reality of capitalism.
Yeah.
If we don't spend our money there, we don't vote, it's all about numbers.
Yeah.
But instead, Morehouse is giving them money. Like, so why would they ever go out of business? Why would they ever feel the impact if even our institutions aren't making the choices of what a revolutionary would do, in a sense? Like, buy black, that's revolutionary in a sense. You try to change something real significant if black folks said, let's buy black.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Morehouse took them down now. So they did take them out. I'm just saying, why were they there in the first place?
Exactly.
Why is that all black?
Yeah.
It's not unfair to ask that question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I understand. Like, we already made that point. They did get rid of them, but I think a more significant question is, with all the resources and revenues and opportunities to build up black companies, like, if our HBCUs ain't doing it on a consistent basis, that means chances are the people coming through those institutions. Like, imagine what we would be like as a community if all of our institutions practiced that and then orientated the students who came through those institutions with that philosophy and concept. Like, yo, we want y'all to buy black, and that's all we do is buy black.
Yeah, but it's crazy because the fact that we even have that term, buy black or group economics within our communities, you don't hear that. You don't hear buy Korean. You don't hear.
They just do it.
Yeah, it's exactly, because it's the norm. It just exists. It's the way it is. And the fact that, Al, you just said a very key term is we ain't ready. So the fact that we even have to use these kind of terms means that we ain't ready. And, you know, like you said, like if the fact that we have to remove those places out of our institutions when they do something wrong, like, so not only why are they there in the first place, but why does it take, again, why we got to boycott when something's wrong? We got the resources and the businesses to actually reach out to and to lend to each other. It just doesn't make sense to me. I hate that whole, they did us wrong, let's boycott. We are so past that. Should be, anyway.
That should be, and I didn't want to just keep urinating on Morehouse. I put Morehouse aside, but for this, I've heard people even changing the subject a little bit when they talk about building up HBCUs, or how athletes should go to HBCUs instead of going. They realize the HBCUs ain't no damn better. For the most part, they're just black people running it, but they're not running it any better than UGA. You might as well just go to UGA then. Yeah. Stay in a better dorm, ride better buses, because they ain't like they just HBCUs treating you any better, or they doing anything any better. It's just a bunch of black people there with European minds in most cases. Now I'm gonna be quiet because I know I'm gonna get killed for that statement, but it is what it is.
I definitely understand. I definitely understand. And I get, you're speaking in general. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
Those questions run, if I may, though. I mean, those questions run deep. Those questions are deeper than just surface questions. Those questions run all the way back to the reason why we have a phrase for buy black and other cultures don't. It's because other cultures were never stripped and robbed of their culture in the first place. So that's a deeper question of, black Americans especially we're black, but we're kind of Europeanized. We're kind of Americanized in the same sense of we don't what is it? We don't have deep running cultures of re-supplementing and reinventing and keeping the economic prosperity of ourselves and our own community, because we've the culture, the generations of us that would have been doing that were wiped out or enslaved, or so that's a deeper question than us not being ready. It's like we never started in the first place. At least here.
Wait. That's not true though. That's not true in the sense of, and I agree with some of what you said. So let me preface that. But the idea that we haven't done it when there was segregation, we were doing it.
Yes.
Like there was a time where, as a overwhelming majority, because of we had to, but whatever, that was our mentality. I think when you hear people critique segregation from going from segregation to integration and saying integration was a bad thing for black people, what they usually come up next with is this whole idea of it took that away from us. Like in the sense of we got sold this idea that not dealing with our own was the way to go, and that's
you wanted a place at the table. That's always been a thing.
Yeah, you wanted a place at the table. And there, like I said, so why? Yeah,
I'm confused at what Al is disagreeing about. Like what he said in this quote.
Like when there was segregation, we were forced to live in these. We were forced to live in these pockets of black communities, which forced us to only have to deal with black businesses and do business with our own. Right, so therefore you got the Tulsa, Oklahomas, the Wilmington, North Carolinas, the Harlem, New Yorks. You got those places that are just us. And integration came, and like a lot of things now, we felt that I got the option to buy from other folks. Well, y'all stuff ain't good enough no more. It's like Keyonne, like you said, like the white man's ice is colder.
Mm-hmm. You got to remember you got to remember a lot of that was stolen. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily that they were given the opportunity to go outside of that. The outside was stealing that at the first. The outside was stealing that already. So it became harder and harder to compete with your ideas and your culture. I mean, it's the same thing that happens like right now. We're demonized for a lot of the things that we do in culture and in music and in fashion, and then 3 years later, it's stolen, and then it's the norm. But guess what? We've already moved on to the next thing anyway, and so the cycle of we're so damn ingenuitive that it's really a blessed people, and we just don't know how to get that back. So and that's so. And even in the civil rights movement, going back through the '60s, that was kind of that was the difference between those brothers like Martin Luther King and the Jesse Jacksons and all those guys, and the difference between those guys and the Malcolm X's and the Louis Farrakhan's, like that was the difference between those two communities of leaders. The Muslims and that group were saying, we need to build all of this on our own backs and educate ourselves and have our own, and King and all those guys were saying, like, we can all do this together. So some of those same ideologies exist today. It's just, your preference on how do you bridge the gap, what's more beneficial, so on and so forth.
But can I say, first of all, I see what Al said. I think both of y'all kind of saying the same thing. Not even y'all would disagree. I understand now. I understand what y'all were saying. But to that King thing you just said, I've learned recently that this was a mechanism for weakening the system. It wasn't like he was everybody hold hands and blah blah blah. It was like that was a way to that was a tactic to weaken the system. You see what I'm saying? It's like because at the end, I know if all y'all have heard this saying about I feel like we've integrated into a burning building or whatever. But it wasn't that he was really wanting white kids and because everybody hold hands and sing Kumbaya. It was a tactic. Just like going somewhere and getting videotaped, getting yourself beaten was a tactic to gain sympathy. You know what I'm saying? The tactic to weaken the system was to integrate into it. Say, hey, these are your laws. This is what your Constitution says, because he was trying to bring it down, and he was trying to do it by it was a tactic. That basically is what I'm saying. It wasn't like he was really on that, because that's some really crazy shit to think about. You want everybody to hold hands, and that wasn't really what he was doing. He was as militant. I guess what I'm trying to say, he was as militant as Malcolm X, but in a different way. I'm going to do it this way.
Like when you look at who said that? Like that's
no, I've never heard that. That's amazing.
No, right?
No, I'm saying.
Here's what when you read what he wrote, when you hear how he spoke, when you take into consideration his deep Christian faith, it makes more sense that he would be about a deeper approach to the world in terms of wanting a human race as opposed to us being segregated. Like that seems really out of character. And I didn't know the man, but you know what I mean? Just who I have read about him and understand him to be, that not to say he wasn't militant, because his perspective on poverty and war to me was extremely revolutionary, and I'm with him on that. And I was like, I get that too. But that just seems like he seemed a kumbaya type of dude. And I ain't got no disrespect for that. I'm a person who believes like the whole looking at the world by race and like thinking that it really matters doesn't make sense to me. And I understand the country I exist in and that race plays a factor, but I also know that it is just a physical characteristic and it doesn't mean anything in terms of a person's character. So like the idea of seeing the world like that seems insane. So I'm more in the sense of, I think as the better approach, the world I want to live in and how I teach my kids to live is like, see everybody for who they are as people. Fuck what skin they have. Because there's good white people, good black people, bad white people, bad black people. That's the world. That's how you should see the world. I've always seen the world like that. That's where I'm at right now. So I would like to think that King was there too.
Yeah, you totally misreading. And I studied for a math test tonight, and we having a spelling bee. So I'm like, damn, I don't have the material in front of me. But I'm funny. It was not. This was a tactic. This was the tactic.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, because Al, you just touched on something, and Gerald, you did too earlier, as far as us, black people being like villainized. And Gerald, you mentioned, Poolside Peter and barbecue Becky,
yeah,
on hashtags, but a new one has come through, and it's funny, Gerald, when you texted it, I was just reading about it, and I was on YouTube looking at it, and actually on High Noon today, your boy, what's his name, Keyonne, ESPN. Do you follow him on Twitter? ESPN, skinny black dude with a bald head.
Monty Jones.
Monty Jones.
Yeah. I was watching High Noon when they started talking about it. So apparently, I don't even know where this was. Didn't really get a chance to find
Virginia.
out where it was. Was it in Virginia? Okay. So
somewhere Virginia.
Court, playing a pickup game.
Dulles, Virginia.
Dulles, okay.
What do you say? All right.
Like we've all done a million times, just playing pickup basketball, and a dude sets a screen, not even foul, but it sets a hard screen on a dude. Black dude sets a screen on a white dude, and the white dude calls the cops, right? So in the video, you don't actually see the screen, and you don't see the supposed hard screen. You see a dude immediately start recording afterwards, and of course, the dude that called the cops is looking pretty sheepish. He's walking by, not saying anything. And it's crazy. Like for one, it just showed the beauty, because we've all played pickup basketball. It's like everybody of all cultures. But that's where you go to play basketball, and it's beautiful because everybody's just there. It's a bunch of dudes from all walks of life. So you see black dudes walking by laughing, a white dude walking by laughing, and then a Mexican comes out of nowhere and just pushes the camera, like, get that camera out of my face. So it's crazy, right? Then the cop comes and he's laughing like I've never been called for a foul before. Like, nobody's ever called the cops over a foul.
And the cop goes on further to say, Jay, that he was actually called, like, when he got there, he realized that it was for a pickup game, but they in the report, the guy called, like, he thought he was coming out there for people fighting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he thought he was coming out for, like, a fight broke out at a basketball game or at the gym. He had no idea that it was just over a pickup game, right? So, first of all, Keyonne.
Yes, sir.
How pussy you gotta be to call the cops over a foul not even a foul, a hard screen in a basketball game? Like, what's your mindset going into the gym?
My mind, as soon as you all talking, my mind go to this story. I was at LA Fitness one day, and I was playing basketball. I was in there for like a couple hours, and these white boys walked in the gym, like in our group was like 8 of them. The shortest one was like 6'3". The tallest one was like 6'9". I got pussy. I grabbed my ball, and I got the fuck off the court because I'm not about to get, embarrassed out here. So I went to this bathroom, and I came back while they was out playing, and I sat and watched them, and these motherfuckers were horrible. And I'm sitting like, God damn! I was just that the way they walked in. They walked in. I was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But they were horrible basketball.
BYU or something.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
Cal State Fullerton or something.
But when I was watching them, they was like the worst. They were just tall. That's all they were. They were horrible. But anyway, that's the end of that. But as far as like it's 2 levels to this. One, I don't want to play basketball with somebody that's way better than me because it's like I'm not having fun at this point. I don't want to play basketball with somebody who I'm way better than. Like, you just got no coordination. So I want to play with people that's on my level. So you asking like about someone that would call foul or something. That's weird. I don't even want to play. I don't want to be on the court with you because it's not fun. If you do that, you're not weak or you just can't play. You got no coordination. I would leave. I wouldn't even play with the guy. I would just want to go. I'll get better fun out of it shooting by myself. Just shooting and getting rebounds and shooting threes and running layups. I'd rather play by myself with somebody that can't play that way. So that's kind of my answer on that.
And Joe, nothing like of course in these situations, the dude ain't gonna come out and say, this black dude fouled me hard, so I'm gonna call the cops, right? So that never comes.
Right.
But with all the instances we've seen, it's getting pretty obvious at this point what's going on, right? So you mentioned a bunch of other hashtag people. So pretty much they're just rolling the dice that they're gonna get an asshole cop to show up and beat this black dude's ass. Pretty much is what.
That is my sentiment on these things. I have a like. Everyone's been watching the same media stories, the same news outlets. Tamir Rice got killed in 2 seconds. Cops were called on him. I think Tamir Rice was 12 years old.
Yes.
Walking through the park, playing with a toy gun. Cop pulls up. Less than 2 seconds later, that kid's dead. Yeah. So I and these are stories that are out here. The Louisiana, the guy in Charlotte. The list goes on and on. And I think there is a sentiment. I think some of these police calls are subliminal. Because I hate to think they're intentional, right? I hate to think there's that much hatred out there, but the little girl that was selling lemonade, or I would hate to think that this stuff is intentional, but people know that incidents with black folks sometimes and oftentimes end up with that black person beat up, jailed, or God forbid actually shot to death. So it's my opinion. It's my opinion and my fear that some of this is malicious and hoping, at least at some subliminal level that, just like you said, well, then let me see what altercation I can drum up between the cops and this black person. you know, because you know, and that disgusts me. It scares me. I think it's, you know, it speaks to a pattern of, let me just call the cops on this black person for whatever, you know, Starbucks, you know, and some of the denials that you get of, oh, that wasn't racism, that was this or that, or, you know, but when you start involving these kids, CNN had a kid from, I think, Wisconsin or Michigan or something a couple of days ago. I think this kid was 8 years old. He got the cops called on him for delivering newspapers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some of this is like, I think some of these may be valid. Okay, maybe I need to have the cops see what's going on here, but some of these kids, man, they're, you know, I mean, you got some kids, so I can't even imagine, you know, how, you know, people would feel when you have the cops called on an 8, 9, 10, 11-year-old for doing whatever. But it's my fear, man. It's my honest fear that some of this is happening to drum up some sort of altercation.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think on the song, at the very beginning, I think it speaks more on an entitlement than anything, right? So even if it's not malicious, right, and even if it's not racially driven, like as at the front of your mind, like consciously, it's more about entitlement, and then it leads to other things. But you touched on something that's very concerning to me, because what I'm concerned about is our young kids, boys and girls, who develop this mistrust for police, and develop this fear of police, because you call the cops on a kid at 8 years old. What do you expect his outlook on the police is going to be for the rest of his life?
Especially if that doesn't go well. Yeah,
exactly. So it's setting up a system, and it's setting up cycles that we already have enough issues of our people don't trust the police, and so it's just in further ingraining those thoughts into our kids' minds, and that's what scares me a lot, because like Keyonne said earlier, like, look, say what you want to say. Like I've been called a nigga before. I laugh at it. Like it's like you can do better than that. But when you start ingraining like tools and thoughts into kids' heads, like, kids are not old, they don't have those tools to deal with those kind of things. And so when you're just selling water on a hot day and somebody calls the cops on you, and like you said, like especially when it goes bad, like you said, like those are things that last and pass down through generations. And what do you think that 8-year-old girl or Tamir Rice's family is going to tell people about police for the next generation after generation? That's what scares me.
I already got it. Like my little boy, when he turned 13, I'm gonna tell him the police are not your friends. Like, real talk. Like, for now, he's 3. Mm-hmm. So you are the police. You have a problem, you go see a police officer. But there come a time, I'm around 13. They are not your friends. If they ask you a question, you wait till I get there. You don't answer nothing. Mm-hmm. You don't say nothing until I get there. I mean, that's real talk. That's how I kind of had to learn on my own. Mm-hmm. The cops are not your friend. But when they come to you, they trying to make an arrest. Mm-hmm. So you got to move carefully. Say as little as possible. And I'm had this mentality since I was like 15 years old in my interactions. They trying to make an arrest, bro. So you gotta just don't say shit or
act accordingly.
Say look, yeah, but that's the best way to have. Just act accordingly. So Al, you've got an older son, right? So have you what talks have you had to have with your son as he's grown from a kid to a young adult to now an adult?
Unfortunately, because of the recent as in the last 10 years, maybe even more, there's been and I guess with the development of the camera and the phone so that people can capture it, and like we're being exposed to these incidents at a greater rate in the last decade or so. As I've been a parent, my son has gone from a young boy to a 21-year-old man now, I've had plenty of opportunities to have this conversation and try to, me and his mother, by the way, have had this conversation. And even just also when not even when there's an incident, but when he's leaving us, occasionally we will remind him, put this back in his head of, but at the end of the day, I've tried to help him understand that when something is going on with you and the police on the street, that is not the time to rectify that situation. That the goal is to get home. That's what your focus is, getting home. And then from there, we will proceed. So when I say act accordingly, I mean understand that these people are authority. And with their authority comes discretion. And they also have the benefit of the law and, in my opinion, society's blessing to do you harm. So understand that they have the authority and society's blessing because they continue to get off when they are even brought
get
under
off. Some of them they don't even. I was gonna say some of them they don't even press charges.
Correct. So understand that's where we live. So your goal is always to get home. And it's just unfortunate, and to think, that never even crossed my mind that we have people in this country who might be trying to instigate that. And like that never crossed my mind. But at the same time, like for that, the type of person who would want to do that or consider doing that, I could see them like that's an interesting tactic. Damn.
Yeah, like you're
really
weaponizing the police.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the weapon. I think it's subliminal. I think it's subliminal.
Even so, and but whatever, the fact that you're not against that, like doing whatever it takes to avoid that situation in this country, to be like, you know what? Nah, I ain't bringing the police into the situation because I know how they react to you. Like we're not our brother's keeper. That's just some vicious shit. And that's what I was telling my mother-in-law recently, because she believes that people are nice. And I'm like, not from my experience. As I go through this world in these streets, I don't see a lot of kindness. I don't see that. And like when I do see it, it's like, hey, I appreciate you. I don't see that a lot. And so, the world is going in the wrong direction.
I disagree, Al, but I disagree, Dal. I think people are nice. Generally, I don't think the world's going the wrong direction. I think we are in a much better place now. Like you can't hang people from the tree anymore, and everybody stand around and take pictures, and that's like no police stand out there, the crowd, kids, and everything is cool. You can't do that anymore. There was a time when that was normal, like that was okay. So I think we're in a way better place today, generally, like societally, than we were 100, 2, 3, 4, 500, 6. You know what I'm saying? Things were crazier, but burning people because they thought they were witches. I mean, this is all like within this country's history. I think we're in a way better place. That's one thing. But overall, the weaponization of the police is not a new thing. Like we all know that, right? How the police were created and everything, and chase the slaves. So this ain't new. We just got cell phones now with cameras on them. That's the new stuff. We're documenting this stuff now.
Yeah, but I do also think it's become more petty, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I absolutely think so.
Absolutely.
I think it's become.
So that was petty.
Yeah, that's what you like, and I kind of. I don't even know whether I agree or disagree with whether we've gotten worse or better. I think we've gotten different. Because it's different.
Yeah, I think it's just different.
It's different ways to lynch people when people watch now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
You can't come
absolutely.
on.
Not hanging from the
Jay.
tree is different though.
No,
Nah,
that's what I'm saying.
Jay,
It's
nah,
different.
you
No,
don't do that,
listen,
man.
Hanging from the tree is different,
Yeah,
but
listen,
being dead is being dead, guys.
exactly. So listen,
Nah,
listen.
it's not the
I
same.
agree.
Alright,
Come
so,
on,
Keyonne,
now.
no. 'Cause I
Don't
just
turn
heard-
me into Al, Jay.
No,
Hold up.
no.
Let me
Let
just
me
say one-
finish. No,
Let me just say this one thing, PJ, and I'll jump off. I just wanted to say the eras of lynching, like the only thing I would say where I agree with Key that it's better when we're not in that era is because it was like spectacles, like people were coming out watching it. Like that's real. A society that would come out and watch a lynching. I don't know if we're there where people would come out and see a black guy. I don't know. Maybe you know what? Now that I'm talking that out.
Yeah, think about it. Talk it out and think about it.
Yeah,
What's
they
the
probably
difference?
would. They
Okay,
would.
let me-
My bad.
Let me say.
Go ahead,
say
Jay.
what I
I'm
was
sorry
gonna
for
say.
cutting you.
No, you're good. Because for one, Keyonne, like you done said like 6 different crazy shit since we've been on the show, right? And you follow that up by saying, "I know I'm gonna get killed for this," so right?
No,
And
name the crazy shit I said.
The shit you just said, I know I'm gonna get killed for that, but like so,
That's not crazy. I'm just
I'm
because
just-
it's not
okay,
crazy.
listen to what I'm. God damn. All right.
Do you say
So
that
what
crazy? I'm just that's not crazy.
Okay.
That's not.
But in your perspective, from your perspective, it's not crazy because you believe it, right? I think the shit's crazy. Like like should you say like about HBCUs? Like I think that's kind of off base, but shit, that's what you believe. So this is what I believe, right? I don't think there's any better or worse than, like you say, lynching and people standing around and having a cookout while the dude's being hung from a tree. Yeah, that shit's crazy. It's bad. I don't think that's any like better or worse. I think it's different than watching Philando Castile being shot by a policeman on social media and people are basically having a fucking party in the comment section. I don't think that's.
That's not even nowhere near the same thing. But
Okay,
and it's
but
crazy that it's not even close to this.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. You think I'm crazy? I don't think so. Like I don't, but because those images are just as powerful, and it's even more dangerous because then you have, like, at least I could see, and I could like tangibly touch the person that's at the cookout, and it may be 100, 120 people there. And I know who those people are if they're in my community. Like, those people in the comment section, those people saying, well, if he would have complied, he wouldn't have got shot. Fucking nigga. Like, those people are people that, like, might work 2 desks away from me. And I don't even know who they are. Those people are the kids that drive my kids to school on buses. I don't even know who they are.
Now you're contradicting yourself. You saying you don't know who they are, but they drive your kids. You don't know who. Could be somebody in Russia doing this.
He's saying that could be
if they're
anybody.
in the comment section, they could be the person that drives my kids to school, but I don't know them. They could have not have a profile picture. They could have a fake name on Facebook. They could be anybody, is what I'm saying. So even though it may not, even though it may not be as in your face, and it may not be as like this destructive picture of a dude hanging from a tree, it's still just as dangerous to me. I don't see it as any better or any worse.
Jay, if I may, instead of it being a picture of a dude that's hung from a tree by a cop in the community, then the cop isn't charged and goes on to work the next day. It's just a video of a black dude shot in the street by a cop that gets off and goes to work the next day. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
The
And people
method's
having
just
parties
different.
in the comment section. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even know. Like I don't even know whether to agree or disagree that we're in a better or worse place. I just think it's different.
Yeah, I ain't gonna argue that.
Yeah, it's nowhere near this. It's y'all tripping. But to the you said that my HBCU thing was off base. I said HBCUs are no different than the predominantly white schools. How is that? Like, I'm going back to that.
We 40 minutes into the show. I'm not trying to go back to another topic. I'm just saying you have a right to your opinion, and I can say it's off base, and I can say it's crazy, but you go think what I say is that you don't agree with is crazy, but we move on. We agree to disagree. We move on. But I'm gonna let you finish your point. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So, yeah, because we can't like go back and revisit shit from 20 minutes ago. But yeah. So on a lighter note, we did have fans that asked us some questions.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Keep them coming.
And before I get to that, do y'all know who Gabe Rivera is? Anybody?
No.
Nobody?
That sounds familiar.
Gabe Rivera. Shout out to Gabe Rivera, who died today. I know I said on a lighter note, but I want to give a shout out to Gabe Rivera, who passed away at the age of 57. Gabe Rivera was a defensive tackle, former defensive tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was drafted in 1983, the famous quarterback class of the NFL, when the Pittsburgh Steelers famously passed on Dan Marino, who was right there in their backyard, to draft what they thought would be the second coming of Mean Joe Green, right? So,
Wow, were they wrong?
Yeah, well, yeah. They called him Senor Sack. This Mexican dude from Texas Tech. Had a very good, I think he had like 6 sacks his rookie year. Got drunk one night and got in a car accident and was paralyzed. Only played 1 season. So he was a very good player. But ended his career being paralyzed. Steelers passed on Dan Marino for him and ended up with the likes of Mike Tomczak, Bubby Brister, and Cordell Stewart, Kent Graham, a long list of names. T. Martin, until they found Ben Roethlisberger. So shout out to you, Gabe Rivera. You know, you remain close with the Steelers organization, but hey, we ever drafted you. So now on to our fan questions. So first off, from Terrence in Ashburn, VA. He wants to know, apparently there was I checked it out after he sent the question, and I'm glad he referenced it because it was pretty interesting to know what we think about the New York Times article by Scott Cacciola. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. The article in New York Times on why Kobe fans hate LeBron James. And I think it wouldn't be apropos if we didn't start this with you, Alvin Glymph. Why do you think Kobe fans hate LeBron James? There's a certain pocket of Kobe fans, I'll put it that way.
Well, I mean, I think when I read the article, I thought it was an interesting read. I really thought it was going to be more the writer offering his insight into it as opposed to just kind of reporting them.
That's exactly
but it's funny because, like, you know, all of those different people and reasons people shared why they don't like LeBron in the past, I could relate to, or either I felt that way for some of them, or I heard. And honestly, I think it's 2 things. One, I think as fans, especially people who get a lot of publicity, as fans, there's going to be instances where you're going to disagree with a player's performance or what they might say in the media. And I think that's okay. I think that's healthy. I don't think it was in most cases more than that. That because we felt that way about Kobe. You know what I mean? Like, there would be things he did on the court that we didn't agree with, and things he did off the court that you didn't agree with, and you disliked that about the player. So it's not all just because you share what you dislike about a player that, now you're a hater. I think it's how people receive that critique because, you're a Kobe fan. If you critiquing LeBron, you must be a hater. That's one thing. But also, I think when I look at those fans, I think they're very similar to me in that while you might have felt that way about him, and you probably still do if he behaves that way as a Laker, you ready to accept the fact that you got the best player in the NBA on your team, and let's go. Like, you're excited. So I understand why, people want to focus on the past, but I'm already looking into the fall, like, let's get it started. So I'm embraced them. I'm positive and looking forward to us trying to get a title.
All right. Keyonne, why do you think some Kobe fans hate LeBron James.
I read it, and I think they're juvenile. It's kind of everything we talked about already on the show, previous shows. They afraid that. Well, it didn't say this, but my interpretation of it is they seem to be afraid that he's getting closer to Kobe, and so they just hate him, or they always hate him. My mind goes back to that Nike it was the Nike ad. It was 2009, I believe. Kobe, LeBron, and they played it up the whole year, and then of course LeBron lost to Boston that year, and he ended up not making it to the finals. I almost wonder if Nike played into, or I don't know if they created it or they just bet on something that was there already, and we just kind of kept growing from there. Like, it created a rivalry, or if the rivalry was there. Cause I don't even know where would it have started, other than the fact that LeBron is the closest thing to Michael. You know, on a tier of greatness. You know, I guess Michael's 1, Kobe 2. Bron creeping up 3 or whatever, or Bron 2, Kobe or whatever, you know, or Bron 1 and or whatever. He's the legitimate threat, so they just hate him. But it's juvenile, because it's like, come on, man. I mean, what are we talking about here? Dude is great, Kobe's great, everybody's great. You know, I don't really understand it, but you know, it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Hold on. This last line, I think says it all to me. Jeremy Gonzalez, a 20-year-old student from Long Beach, California, rattled through his list of criticisms, including the allegation that James is a lazy defender. Then it has in quotation or whatever that is. James has been. Thank you. I'm tired. Parentheses. I know what parentheses are. I swear to God. James has been named to the All Defensive Team 6 times. You know, but so it's like it's not even rational. But anyway.
Yeah. Now, Gerald, what were your thoughts? And why do you think some Kobe fans hate LeBron?
I think, I think it does speak to, you know, there being an unspoken rival at the top when you start talking about the greatest players of all time. And I think, you know, let's face it. If not talking about LeBron James at all, you're just talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, being out there, being a Lakers fan, you have to admit, you know, Kobe Bryant has got some allure. He is beloved out there. You know, I'm not speaking in the mind of a Charlotte kid that lives in Charlotte. I'm talking about of a Valley kid, you know, living in LA. Like, it's like Kobe's it out there. You know, so some of that perspective we're not gonna get, because we don't have that just fanatic crazy love of, you know, if you're 35 and you're a Lakers fan, you know, you grew up with Kobe. You know, he hit in your mind, he hit every big shot. He, you know, I mean, you know, so I think, and then comes LeBron James, this threat to, you know, to Kobe's dominance, and Laker fans, specifically Kobe fans, for a long time have been the arch enemy, you know, of LeBron James, you know, so and it's been tough for them to reconcile that feeling. Now that he's a Laker. So I think some of that is just, you know, just love for their hero. You know, he's their Superman, you know, take it or leave it. And then there's another guy that's coming in that's got the skills to be Superman. So they may be a little threat. They may feel a little threatened. And then some of that's also like the comparisons to, you know, some of the outlets and some people already trying to make him the great. Like, as long as he doesn't come in and you know, people don't disrespect Kobe, I think this will be fine. You know, but Laker fans definitely don't want to hear this, like, already trying to compare him to Kobe. Like, he's got to go to LA and do work. Yeah, whatever he did in Miami, whatever he did in Cleveland, I don't think Laker fans care. I just like he's got to come to the Lakers and do work. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, I totally don't understand it. Go ahead, Al.
No, I was gonna say as a Laker fan, yeah, it definitely don't matter. Which I mean, in the sense of like how we see you in terms of the list of Lakers, you're gonna have to perform well as a Laker to be considered one of the best Lakers, right? But on the strength of I'm excited about the opportunity for him to win more titles. Hey, that's what I'm hoping for because he's playing on my team. And being in now the conversation of, for me, you know what, this guy legitimately has had a better career, is greater than Kobe in terms of what he accomplished. Because at this point in the game, for that to happen in my eyes, the Lakers would have had a very successful run over the next 3 or 4 years. So that's a win-win for me, and I'm okay with that. Consistently, my beef with LeBron is not that he couldn't be better than Kobe in terms of is he greatest on my list now? Like, oh, no, he ain't ever going to be there. My thing is he ain't there yet. He ain't there now. And if he ever got there, I've always, in my opinion, gave him props when he earned it. So I'm looking forward to hopefully he earning it on the Lakers and we getting another couple of rings. I would love that as a fan.
Yeah, like here's why it doesn't make sense to me. For a couple of reasons. One, because there was never really a rivalry between Kobe and LeBron. They never played in the finals. And when they did play in the regular season, LeBron pretty much dominated statistically and in the wins column. But none of those games mattered. They were regular season games. Like I never understood this rivalry that's been created in people's minds between those two players because they never had a rivalry. And then two, it's something different. I think it's deeper. There's something deeper because this hasn't happened with any other Laker great come new Laker. Like this didn't happen when Kareem came to LA. You know, and somebody was like, nah, Wilt's my dude. Like, I've never heard those stories. I've never, like, I don't get it. There's something, I don't know what it is about that faction of Kobe stans, as they call them, that just doesn't want, like you can't even put up a mural of LeBron without somebody.
Yo, that was crazy, right?
Like that
was crazy.
Yeah, so like that faction of Kobe fans, and I ain't saying all, but it's like extremists, like religious extremists. It's just like totally irrational that I don't get. Like something's triggering them. I've never seen it before.
I think what's
specific with the Lakers, I haven't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think what's triggering it is the love-hate relationship fans have towards LeBron. Like, I mean, when you look at some of the fanatical behavior, like he has one, like when he left Cleveland, they burned his jersey. I've never seen that before in terms of a player leaving. Like he won. I think part of this is for whatever reason, people fiercely love him. Shit, my Uncle Billy is a LeBron fan. Like, how the hell did that happen? And people don't like him. And I think the rivalry, to your point, while they've never played, you know, like they didn't have a team rivalry, I think it's been more fan and media created, if anything. And I think because as Kobe was dominating the NBA in terms of being the best player in the league, I think a lot of LeBron fans were like, the media was propping him, saying, yo, this dude's going to be the best. This dude is the greatest player. We're going to give him the MVP. And the fans is like, yo. So they were throwing shots at Kobe. I think Kobe fans reacted. I think it's really been fan stuff. Then the players have always seemed cool. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so interesting about the rivalry either, is because they've always seemed, it's almost been like a mentee mentor, now it's yours, you can have the league thing. You know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. It is really weird how this rivalry exists. but you wonder how the hell did it happen?
Yeah. And another reason it don't make sense to me is, I mean, I guess the only team I'm like that fiercely loyal to is the Steelers, right? But shit, if the Steelers had signed Ray Lewis at the height of his career, I've been all for it. I hate the Ravens. They would have signed Ocho Cinco. You know, if the Browns had somebody that good, I could have said somebody from there. But I'm saying, like, any of our rivals, like, shit, Cowboys, Steelers signed Emmitt Smith in the middle of his career. I would have been ecstatic. Like, I can't imagine, like, hating somebody because, and Emmitt would be perfect because he was in the NFC. He never done nothing to the Steelers. Like, I can't be mad at him.
But your allegiance isn't to this Roethlisberger. It's to the Steelers. Like, it's almost like to hell with Roethlisberger if his backup is better. That's kind of how you know what I'm saying? It's not like this is a Kobe thing. This ain't a Laker thing.
Well,
but see, I was a Romo fan. I was a fierce Romo fan. Dak Prescott comes. Like, I'm all about the
not a fierce Romo. I heard you talk bad about
Romo fan. Stop that. I'm like, I'm defending Romo.
You said that before.
Right, I've defended Romo. I argue with other Cowboy fans about Romo. I'm a Romo supporter. Stop that. But
I gotta do my
I'm not saying it's a similar situation because Prescott is the enemy. But I think it's what for many Kobe fans, let me say Laker fans, for many Kobe fans, LeBron James is the villain because you have been the source of people throwing like a lot of the heat that's come at their hero, your guy. You've had to defend it against him, and now he's yours.
One thing LeBron can do that no one player has done in NBA history is become a Finals MVP on 3 separate teams. Yeah. There's only one other player that's done 2, and that was Kareem. Mm-hmm. Kareem's done it on two teams, but LeBron can be the only player. So it's almost like we talk say Michael Jordan. Then you could say LeBron James is like create his own. Kobe Bryant came in trying to be like Michael Jordan. LeBron James is really creating his own lane. Like he's LeBron James. You know what I mean? This will be something new that nobody's ever done. You know what I mean? It's his own lane, which is very, very impressive to me. But you know, it is what it is. And I'm going through my emails. I got to go back 2 years. But I'm associate. But you was talking trash by Romo, and I was shocked. But anyway, because I'm petty.
LeBron's also done something.
Bring it up.
LeBron's also done something that, you know, and at least I'll say in my recollection that I can't quite put my finger like LeBron. So the NBA has fans, and they have diehard fans, you know, just regular fans. They have casual fans. They have fans that just kind of watch the stars or whatever the case may be. And then there's like fan bases of teams. LeBron James has like his own little cult following. Yeah. They're like and it transcends like all of that. It transcends like I'm actually like a fan of this team and I don't really care for anyone else. And like but LeBron James, like he's taking his fans with him outside of the fans of those teams. He's taking his fans with him from Cleveland to Miami, from Miami and back again, and now to LA. So his followers don't even really have teams. They just LeBron fans.
What are you talking about? I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan for about 18 days now.
But see, with this whole Miami thing, I've had dudes come and just say straight up, "Look, I'm a Bron fan." Yeah. Like when he was teetering between leaving Miami and going back to Cleveland, so I'm going wherever he go. I'm a LeBron fan. Like and what?
I clowned my brother. My brother claimed to have been a Knicks fan, and the Knicks and Heat, as far as I'm concerned, in the '90s had some battles, and y'all is on my enemy list. Y'all is a rival of ours now. Mm-hmm. So for him for LeBron to be Miami now, you claiming you a Miami fan. I'm looking at my brother like, hold on, wait a minute, nigga. You got to give up your Knicks fan card. You can't be the same fan of two teams. And now he like, fan of two teams. But I'm not a fan of rivals, though. Like, that's whack. That's against my fan rules. You can't do that. Like, how you gonna be fans?
But everybody writes their own fan rules, though, right?
You're right.
So,
right.
Like
At the end of the
told
day,
you
I
before,
didn't.
I think having two teams is whack. But if it works for you,
Right. I get it. I didn't know that then. This was however many years ago. But we had some fierce battles where I wasn't even bringing up my mom. Like, yo, mommy was a Knicks fan. How the hell you gonna betray the Knicks like this? You saw, right?
Wow.
You saw.
What in the Jeff Van Gundy ball spot is going on in here?
Yeah, man. I think it's some of that. I think some of that because I agree with your points from earlier. Like, some of the fans have created this, and they've helped create it because LeBron has fans, and I don't think I've ever seen this before of like people willing to be like, man, I got 7 LeBron jerseys. I got one from 08 Cleveland and one from so but they will
burn mark in it. Yeah.
So
like they willing to ride. They willing to ride. So I think some of that is Laker, like Kobe fans and Laker fans resistant to those fans.
And
I feel like I've just been on the couch. I think this article and our conversation has allowed me to reflect on my attitude towards LeBron James. And so the article shouldn't be, why do Laker fans hate LeBron James? The question really is, why do Laker fans hate LeBron James fans? Because that's
true.
See?
It feels like y'all the ones who started the beef, you LeBron fans. And so we've just transferred the feelings towards him. And it's kind of like when I hear Cowboy haters, they're like, yo, really, Al? It ain't the team that I hate. It's you arrogant, obnoxious Cowboy fan that I hate. That's why I hate the Cowboys. I never understood. Now I get it.
But I think that's a point of perspective, because as a LeBron fan, I think it's the Kobe fans who started it. Right? And so I can understand your perspective, but I totally see it differently, right? Because I agree with Keyonne. I think a lot of it stems from the threat of LeBron totally kicking Kobe out of the conversation of greatness, right? Of greatest ever, like, and so it's kind of like when you like you got a little cousin or a little brother who's, like, you take him out, you play basketball with him, and he ain't really a threat, so you're nice to him. But then when he start to be able to beat you, you start elbowing him and giving him that old man strength and like playing dirty. And that's how I see it is, like with Kobe fans. When LeBron was young, you never really heard that until he started to ascend, and people started mentioning him in that breath of maybe he's past Kobe. A lot of people now say he has passed Kobe. And I think Kobe fans started that nitpicking and down-tearing of LeBron because they wanted to maintain that standard. That's the way I've always looked at it. But it's funny how perspective...
You know why you looked at it that way? Because you was probably one of those LeBron fans who was disrespectful when he was real young, right? No. So hold on, wait.
I'm gonna stop you there because you're totally off base. No, because you're totally wrong.
Please, sir, let me finish because you had a really great analogy. Mm-hmm. So just like when I was a grown man and I was given the elbow to that teenager, that 20-year-old who could beat me, like my nephew Don, who finally got to that point. If he was disrespectful though when he was 9, when you really couldn't beat me, then it would be like, yo, dog. Like, you know why I'm giving you the elbow? Not because you could beat me. I'm going to give you this elbow now because you started that shit 10 years ago. So my point is, I joke when I said it about you because I don't really remember having those conversations back then. But I know
I was anti-LeBron when he came into the league.
I know my brother was real disrespectful with this shit. And like when Kobe was unquestionably the best player in the league, why do I have to entertain that this young kid is the best player in the league? He's not. He's not. He might one day be, and he turned out to be the best player in the league. But at this point, you're ignoring me with this shit and you're being disrespectful because my man is running the league right now. Leave me alone. So they started it. I'm telling you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's perspective. Like, because from my perspective, Kobe was the best player in the league for maybe 3 years.
You're killing me.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
Killing me.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
It's shit like that. That's the type of shit I had to deal with.
But no, I'm not.
Shit.
I ain't saying Kobe's a bum. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Y'all get all sensitive, and I'm just saying in my opinion.
Come on.
Now,
Okay.
now,
Okay.
and so my thing is, like, when we start talking about what makes a player great, blah blah blah, and all that stuff, right? To me, like, when we start saying, like, the raw numbers matter. Like, to me, Kobe fans always want to overlook the fact that he only got one MVP, right? If you were the greatest player in the
come on.
No,
Come on, Jay.
I'm just because y'all don't like what I'm saying. You go come on me to death.
No, it's right.
Finish your point. My bad.
So from Kobe's fans' perspectives, they totally skipped that part, right? Now, whether you think he was the greatest player, whatever, but nobody ever talks about there is no other. If you look at the 6 players who were ever considered, you look at Mike, Kobe, LeBron, Magic, Wilt, and Russell and Kareem, 7 players who are consistently in that conversation. None of the other 6 have less than 3 MVPs. Like, at some point, if you were dominating, so I just think that gets glossed over, and all you hear is 5 rings. So that's why I think Kobe's fans started, because that's all they got.
He didn't even start to his 3rd year in the league. Just saying.
What does that mean?
So,
he didn't even start to his 3rd year in the league. LeBron started day 1.
Now remind me of this. Who
What
picks
does that
the
mean?
MVP in the NBA? Who selects them?
No,
I think it's the media, right?
I'm pretty sure
the
the
people
whack
that
ass.
watch him, the people that watch him and cover him and get paid to play him to cover him. Every
Okay,
night. But yeah.
all right. I just wanted to make sure we just got that on the record that it's that people who select the player. So if that's what you want to use as who was the best player in the league, if that's we all was watching basketball then. And we're gonna go by who was the MVP. If the MVP was the best player in the league, if that's what we going by,
that's not what I said. Don't misquote me, Thomas Stevens. What I said was
That wasn't me. That was Al.
So
I get
matters
y'all
of
confused because y'all like to misquote me. What I'm saying is that if you are the best player of your generation, right? You got to stumble upon more than one MVP. Like, they took MVPs from Mike. He could have had 6, 7 of them. They've taken a few MVPs from Shaq. He could have 5, 6 of them. Taking a few from LeBron. But if you're the best player of your generation, you go stumble into some MVPs at some point. You get lucky and get one. That's what we say about championships, right? You get lucky and get one. But until you start winning multiples,
I don't say that about championships.
I ain't say you. I said they. I've heard people say that. Which is why people say, you got to give him when Peyton Manning. When they say he had one, when he got one, they say, yeah, but he can't get another one. They said that about LeBron. They say that about a lot of players. And so I've heard that all the time. So you may not say it. I didn't say you. I said they.
It's hard work to win a ship.
Yeah, it is. But it's hard work to win an MVP, right? But if you're the best player of your generation, that's just my standard is you got to win more than one MVP. Like, at some point throughout your career, if you're the best player of your generation, like, a gang of people got to decide. The people who actually just make that decision, what do they just not like you for that many? I don't get it. Like, I've never understood that.
Yeah,
so
precisely.
Like Kobe.
So can I say? I'm sorry.
I mean, what
Can I
saying,
say something?
Hold up, Al. What he's saying make total complete sense. However, I go back to what Al said. What's good? I've been on the line. Yeah, I've been on the line for an hour. I just been
David Russell, ladies and gentlemen.
But Hey,
just jump in and snatch the mic.
Keyonne, take off your suit and hand it to Pooh, man. You get off stage.
Hey, get out of here, man. Yo, wildin'. Hey, what
girl screaming?
What Jay saying makes total sense. Total sense. However, I'm gonna go back to Al and say we all was watching the NBA, and we all know who the best player in the league was. We all know that for a 6-7 year span. We all know that. I mean, Jay, you're right. The voters and he doesn't have multiple MVPs. However, we all know who the best player in the league was.
So Kobe gets
just like with Mike
right?
era, we all know who the best player was.
But
and
he got
2010,
5 of them.
Wait, Jay. From 2010 to 2011 to now, we all know, Bron was the best player in the league. However, you can't discount that from Kobe, though, that he only has one, though. That's kind of the argument makes sense. However,
don't make sense.
We all know.
Right.
We all know Kobe.
But you're wrong, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the MVP. When we can accept that the MVP is put together by people who, might have their own agendas. Like I just don't trust the media, right? And so the fact that me personally, when I evaluate best players, I'm not taking the MVP into consideration. It's just not it's not a measure of mine. And I watch basketball. We all watch basketball. We know, just like LeBron should have won the MVP, in most people's opinions, the last 7 years, the best player in the league. For whatever reason, people decided, you know what, we not going to vote for him. We're going to vote for this other dude. With Kobe, I'm telling you, the rape was a big reason why media looked at him as a pariah. Like, I'm sorry, I can't put my name behind this dude because of what has happened and how people in this country and society are looking at this player right now. Kobe has done an incredible transformation in terms of the public's perspective on him. Like when he was young and dominating the league and that rape thing happened, a segment of people looked at him like Bill Cosby. How people are looking at like shunned
segment of people.
And if you're gonna get behind him, we gonna hate on you. You cannot get behind him. That played a factor. And the other thing with the media that played a factor at that time was because they're the media, they have a financial incentive to support and promote other players.
Yeah.
So I think that played a role with how people voted politically, like politicians do. This is how we gonna vote, and we're gonna make this guy get a chance. Nowitzki, it's your turn to win the MVP. That's what was happening. I'm telling you.
Or especially that year Nash won.
Twice, I think.
Back.
That was bonkers.
Yeah, but those were stolen from Shaq, right? Nash was those should have been Shaq's MVP.
Yeah, that's common knowledge.
Kobe won it. Yeah, that's common knowledge. That's anybody. Nash's MVPs were Shaq's.
Both of them?
Absolutely.
At least one.
At least one. The other one was cold.
So,
right.
Keyonne.
Kobe should have the other one, right?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Is this as draining to you as it is to me? Because
no, because I don't pay them no mind. I just know they
because all right. Here's one thing. Everything you just said is exactly what I just said. It's like you gave me excuse after excuse after excuse for why he didn't win. But what I'm saying is, Kobe ain't raped nobody in 1996. He'd been in the league long before that, right? And so that didn't come into play until halfway through his career. Secondly, like that being the case, at some point, if you are the best player for a 7-year stretch, as y'all say, you got I just can't buy that. Like, why would they give you the one MVP and then say, oh, well, now you ain't the best player no more? Or like, now I forgot about you raped that chick, dog. We can't give you another one. Like, at what point did like all these conspiracies take over? After the first MVP,
Jay,
after the one MVP.
Who was your best player? You watched basketball back then. Who was your best player of the generation? Who would you vote for?
Shaq. And then Duncan.
Okay.
Like I think Duncan is a greater player than Shaq.
Me too.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
But I definitely don't think Kobe had this reign on the league of being the best player in the league. 'Cause I think Duncan held that title for Kobe. I think Kobe was the best player for maybe a season, 2 seasons,
Now,
maybe.
I would argue that Duncan and Kobe were the best players of that generation. I don't think it was
Clear cut.
like right. I would say clear cut. Shaq's not on my list, but in terms of, like, it would be between Duncan and Kobe for me, and I would give them like y'all get a tie. Like those would be my.
Shaq was never the best player in the league in your estimation.
I'm not gonna say never. No, I'm not saying that.
I thought that's what you said. Shaq
No.
not in. Okay.
No. If I looked at that era,
Okay.
and it was like, well, who would you say was the greatest player of that era? My
that's what I'm
answer
saying.
would be Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Shaq passed the mantle to Kobe. I think it passed to Duncan. I don't think Kobe was ever the sustained best player in the league, like y'all are making it seem. I just don't. And to me, like, I just don't think you can gloss over MVPs. You can tell me the whys all you want to, but like for somebody who's always throwing results at me, I'm surprised you're giving me all these excuses of why Kobe didn't win.
I'm not giving excuses. I'm giving you. I lived through the era, and I'm giving you my. I'm giving you my recollection of what I believed then, what I believe then, and what I believe now.
But you're not speaking out.
I mean,
fact.
it's about perspective. So you're gonna call them excuses. I'm gonna call them like reasons. Like that's just what I believe happened.
Okay. So
But
throughout this entire conversation, the one fact that we know is that Kobe only won one MVP. It's your opinion of what the media might have done to him. So that's what I'm saying.
No one has
disputed
that.
Yeah.
No one has disputed.
That's what I'm saying. If we're speaking out of facts, Kobe only won one MVP. I can't put him in that
speak
echelon.
a lot of opinion here, and those are mine. Mine is that Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant were the best players of that era, the greatest players of that era.
Okay, and that's what, but I'm not come on
And
you,
despite
Steph.
that
Like
fact,
I said
despite
something like I
he only won one
like,
MVP. I'm still going with those two guys as my greatest players of that era.
Okay, and my opinion is that if LeBron only had one MVP, all I will hear is LeBron only got one MVP. He only got one MVP, and I
wouldn't hear from you.
I wouldn't hear from you.
No, because I told you I don't count that as a measure.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying.
From that period, I've never counted the MVP because it doesn't make sense. If we're gonna allow, it's like no, these people are judging. I'm not counting that. It's like the Grammys. I'm not counting that shit either. It doesn't matter to me in terms of who I look at as.
And you got some fruity statistics though, like winning a championship your first year makes you like.
But even with that, I ain't like when I said what I said, like y'all was groaning me off the show. Like, oh come on, Jay, come on.
Oh, mine fruity.
No.
He called mine fruity.
No.
That's saying he's on my side of the boat either. Don't have a thin skin. Don't have a thin skin.
What I'm saying is, I was like you. First of all, you didn't change your list 6 times since we started this show, right?
You MVP is dumb as shit. No, I'm not. It is what it is. We don't have to agree with you.
Yeah, I know I'm not, but I'm saying like that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is y'all again like there's this ultra hyper sensitivity like of you like we say it about Kobe. I'm saying like why does that get glossed over? And then y'all like it's ridiculous to like I just don't get how it's ridiculous to you that winning one MVP is not that impressive when you're talking about the 6 greatest players in the history of the league.
It would be ridiculous if you said that Kobe Bryant was only the best player in the league one season. That would be
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
So it's popularity contest. He only won it once. So that's not ridiculous to me.
Okay, so it's ridiculous that Tim Duncan was better than Kobe for their entire career.
I don't agree with that.
but is it ridiculous though? Is what
No,
like
it's not ridiculous.
Okay,
No, it's not ridiculous.
I don't agree
okay,
with,
so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is that Kobe wasn't the best player in history in his era for more than a season or two. That's not ridiculous to me. You just said it's not ridiculous to you. So that's not ridiculous for that to be like, argumentative. Like, I mean, you can argue that Dunk, that he wasn't better than Duncan for his entire career. So no, I don't think that's ridiculous. But do I think it's true? No, I don't. Okay, but that
part is not ridiculous. Was the greatest player. You
made two different statements, man. You made two different statements. The first statement you made is ridiculous.
And both statements I agree with. I don't think Kobe was the greatest player of his generation, and he only won MVP. I mean both statements.
No, your statement of my comment of that's ridiculous is your statement of Kobe Bryant was only the best player in the league for maybe a season or two.
Okay,
that's asinine.
Okay, glad you said that, because the fact that Tim Duncan was better than Kobe throughout their careers is not ridiculous to you. But the fact that Kobe was only the best player in the league a season or two is ridiculous. That's contradictory. They played in the same years. What? So if Duncan was better than him is not ridiculous, how can Kobe being the best player a year or two be ridiculous?
No, we didn't say he wasn't.
Circles.
Well, no, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy?
You get what I'm saying?
I do, and you know what's crazy?
That's not making sense, Jay. Because I'm just saying, yeah, you can argue that Tim was better. You can make that argument.
And it's not ridiculous. But it wouldn't be ridiculous to think that, right?
But you know what's crazy? Let me say this. I didn't know till just now as I'm looking at these stats. Them niggas played the same time.
Yes,
that's
what I'm saying.
What you mean you ain't know? I made a comment on the show a couple weeks ago that the Lakers and the Spurs basically for 10 years alternated championships.
No, I'm talking about Duncan and I'm the only one that didn't notice it, but Duncan and Kobe pretty much. Kobe came in like 1 year before Duncan, but they retired. They played the same time, so it's like putting their stats side by side. It's like a like comparison, really, because they played like the same years.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So to me, it's not ridiculous, and y'all all just agree that it's not ridiculous to say that Duncan had a better career than Kobe. So why is it ridiculous to think that Kobe was the only best player in the league a year or two?
That's ridiculous, Jeff.
That's like saying, hey, what's the definition of phenomenon? You say phenomenon. You just repeat yourself.
It is though. Like I agree. Again, it's one of those things where like you kind of right or you wrong, Joe. So it's like it's not ridiculous, but we know it's not true. We know it's not true.
And
watch the game.
and Al,
come on, talk about this. You know, Kobe was the best player in the league more than 1 year. Why are we talking about
that? He was not.
He
was not. So you mean to tell me that he was better than Duncan for a 7-year run?
I will give you a 6-year run where he was better than Duncan.
Now that's ridiculous, Al. If you think I'm dragging you through the deep water with these smart dudes on the phone, wait till you got JJ on your side in 3 days, and we're gonna really drag your ass to the deep water. Now, so what I don't know. We can argue back and forth all day. What I do know is Kobe's only got one MVP. That shit ain't gonna never change.
That's a fact.
And
that's a fact.
This is what I mean. Like now, Kobe fans realize that can't be changed. He old, he retired, and LeBron cement is still wet, right? So now Kobe fans are elbowing you, pushing you out the way, and now they mad, using their old man strength, this is what I'm saying. Y'all trying to debo me out of my opinion. When Kobe only got one, the fact that we know is that Kobe only has one MVP. Y'all can give me the media lied on him, and he raped the camera woman, and they ain't like him no more, and Shaq stole his shoes, and Dirk Nowitzki untied his shoes. Y'all can give me all that stuff. What we do know is Kobe got one MVP. You cannot be considered the greatest, especially Duncan, like Keyonne just pointed out to all of y'all who didn't know, they played the same years. Duncan's got 3 MVPs.
Jay, can I stop you for a second?
Please.
Because as we have gone and become even a more popular show, and each month we are breaking all types of records in terms of exposure.
Shout out to you, gentlemen.
The new mediums in terms of how people can hear us, right? I'm afraid that people from my Laker fan committee are going to hear what you're saying right now, cuz I'm gonna have to, in sake of being your big cousin, right? And I love you like a little brother since the day you walked this earth.
You did, and you did.
I gotta
but when I started beating you, you did start elbowing me and hit me with the old man.
When there are times when you are going and you are hurting your own interests, I gotta stop it. If you really want to be a Laker fan, you gotta. You cannot be a Laker fan and still come at Kobe this way.
Let me tell you, I ain't coming at him no way. What I'm saying is he only got 1 MVP. I don't think you is. Why is that?
I know you don't think you is, but you borderline Carmelo right now.
Hello, damn.
I'm hurt. All right. First of all, I think Kobe's days predate my 18-day Laker fanship, right? So I'm still working on that. Essentially, what you're saying right now is that Spurs fans' lives do not matter.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm.
Okay, so what about our Spurs fans? Shout out to the three of you that are listening.
All lives matter.
All fans matter. Right?
They all matter, right? And all I'm saying is, as a fan, bring it to me like a Spurs fan. I would expect you to bring it. You know what I mean? We got beef. We've talked about the rivalry that we had. It's not impersonal. Yeah. It's just we fans like that. And so no, you can't be doing that. You can't do that's a violation.
But I'm not coming at Kobe. All I'm saying is he only got 1 MVP.
Here we go.
That's not an opinion though. I can go out and look at my car right now. I can tell you how many miles is on it. And then my wife gonna come and tell me, yeah, well, because you go to the store so much, and then you go to your sister house so much. Those are the whys. Nobody cares about the whys. What I know is the what. And what is Kobe only got 1 MVP, right? Can we all agree?
We all agreed with you about 15 minutes ago.
But then y'all start throwing up excuses, man. We don't do it. We defy life. We don't do excuses, man. What are you talking about? I don't get this.
Their accolades are identical. The only place Tim Duncan got him all defensive. He got 15 all defensive. Kobe got 12. Everything else is.
How about MVPs?
I think you made that point perfectly clear.
Yeah. Tim got a couple more.
I just didn't want to get brushed over like it seems to be.
Tim
ain't nobody
has
brushing
2.
it over. We're just saying it's a irrelevant stat.
It's not irrelevant. So y'all
I'm
saying MVPs are irrelevant?
Yes, I'm saying.
Gerald, do you agree with that?
In terms of judging greatness, it's not on my list.
What about all defensive?
I gotta give some weight to the MVP.
So
I gotta give some weight to that.
Does all defensive team matter, Al?
Yeah, definitely.
But it gets voted on by the media.
It's a slippery slope, Al.
It's not a slippery slope. It's totally different.
I mean, corner feel you to back yourself into.
It matters, but you ain't never heard it brought up in my conversation, though, right?
Because all your conversations, all your credentials are vague as hell, greatness and
they're not vague. They're not vague at all.
They vague as fuck.
They not vague at all. They just come from someone who's watched the game, and then because I watched the game, I said this is what matters to me.
All right, man.
So Al, you're using your own statistic. Tim Duncan won a championship first.
Yeah, he was great.
I'm just saying.
I agree, okay. Which is why you ain't never heard me diss Duncan. Okay. And I was real quick to say, to me, they right there.
Okay.
I think I've always had a lot of, even though he's on the rival team, Tim Duncan is one of those players that get the rivalry exception, kind of like Troy Polamalu always had. Lawrence Taylor always had. Like I like the way you play so much. I don't care the other team.
So
I'm
am
a
I
fan.
ridiculous for saying Kobe was never the greatest player, the best player in the league?
Are we still going back here? I'm trying. Yo, somebody might be taking notes, Jay.
I don't get it.
Like, yo, 17 times he brought this up in a conversation, put his application on hold.
The only thing about Tim Duncan, if you compare him to Kobe, is his greatness is not necessarily measured on the stat sheet. It's the way he's controlling the game. Kobe putting up stats like them points per game is off the charts. You know what I mean? Tim Duncan wasn't really doing that.
So was that field goal percentage the opposite way?
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Really?
Okay,
Man,
that's
kind of true.
That's what I'm saying.
That's true,
now
though.
It don't count. That don't. Oh, stop it, Jay.
Hey,
Now you're talking about
here's-
stuff that hurts.
Here are the
our
shots
argument.
I'm talking about. Here are the shots I'm talking about. That when you in our family, dog, like you can't be disrespectful like that. Like you can't be in the family taking shots at one of the legends.
I learned from the best. I'm like Gerald Hedrick. I come in and kick my feet up, make myself at home, and we're gonna have this. We're gonna get this work.
Yeah, but that don't work in everybody's house, man.
Hey,
you might roll in
find out.
his house, and I'm the late.
Bron said I'm welcome. Magic said Bron. He got to check with Bron to see who they bring in.
See,
and Bron say I'm cool. I'm with him. The dude with Lakers on the front of his pants, sitting in courtside. I'm with that guy.
It's like again.
That wasn't Michael B. Jordan.
Everything comes back to Michael Jordan, right? We get it.
Nah, I thought that was Michael B. Jordan, the actor with the Lakers short.
Yeah, he's just 6'9".
That was Bron.
See, that's why the Kobe fans so mad. I didn't interject, but it's short and sweet. That's why the Kobe fans so mad. It's because them egotistical maniac Bron fans.
That's what I said.
They got the audacity to be like, you see the memes they put up? Yeah, Bron gonna kick out Kobe for the top 5 Lakers. Is Kobe
has. What are you talking about?
How
Kobe
he
already the 6th greatest Laker of all time.
He hadn't played a moment.
Here we go.
He hadn't played a moment
man.
in the Laker jersey.
Kobe
So
already
that's ridiculous to say that he's a top 5 Laker or he's better than Kobe as a Laker. He hadn't played one moment as a Laker. He may not even play eight games. You just don't know.
But
I think already better than and Kobe's already a top 5 Hornet, right? He never played for them, but he's a top 5 Hornet.
Man,
I'm
pissing everybody off tonight.
Hey man, what? Y'all done a great job.
It only makes you mad if you ain't sure.
Yeah, see?
Y'all really helped me understand my problem with this. It's not LeBron. It's really not LeBron. And even him joining the Lakers is really not LeBron. The whole time, the difficulty as a Laker fan has really been the fact that we got to accept these knucklehead fans into our family, and it's not even LeBron. Yeah. We trying to embrace you, we trying to open your hand, and y'all don't even know how to act. That's the problem.
They don't know how to act.
All right, man.
Didn't you see? Didn't you see the wasteland they left Miami in? What you mean?
I ain't gonna lie. Me and Keyonne drink all the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It only makes you mad if you ain't sure. That's why it gets.
Hey,
you say LeBron the best Laker or whatever. That's when they get mad because they like maybe he is.
Exactly.
Ain't nobody.
He's a threat.
No,
because
if
if I say Sadell Threet is the greatest Laker of all,
exactly,
you won't even bat an eye. But I say LeBron and y'all get lit. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I'm telling you, something's there. Something's triggering all this madness, man.
No,
you're right, Al.
It's the LeBron fans, man.
Smush
I'm telling
Parkers is a top 6
something
Laker of all
about
time.
y'all. And
ain't nobody said nothing.
Smush. Y'all just push the wrong buttons, man.
See, that's
y'all ain't ready.
Nobody
Y'all
said
ain't ready.
I don't like name five Lakers better than LeBron. You can't do it. Name 5
all of
better
them,
than
every single one of them.
Name 5.
He haven't played a second.
I'm
Name
not.
5.
I'm not.
Name 5 Hornets better than Kobe.
I'm not addressing
every
the
single
ignorance.
one of them.
I'm not addressing the ignorance.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm not.
Every single Hornet ever.
No, Kobe was a Hornet.
When you argue with crazy people on the street, people don't know the difference. So,
Kobe,
I concur to that.
Kobe, man.
Yeah.
Y'all sensitive, man.
Stop it, Jr.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm very impressed by what's his Seville Threat reference. I forgot about that dude.
See, Seville Threat. But I don't know what I'm talking about.
You pulled that one out of the hat.
None of y'all
very
pulled
impressive.
out Sedell 3.
Nah, I didn't.
Tell me
I
you
didn't.
watched the game. You ain't watch shit. I knew Sedell, man.
I just can't with you tonight.
Hey, man, I had one mission. I told my sons before I got on the show, I'm pissing somebody off tonight. And I done pissed
Oh, you got me tonight. I was.
Yeah, I don't.
That HBCU stuff is still burning the back of my neck,
See?
dude.
Man, I'm gonna have to hear about that shit.
got
And I knew going in that I'm gonna have to. If I piss you off, I'm gonna have to. Like, we gonna be enemies for 90 days at least. Like, everything I say, you gonna have some shit to say about it and have some smart shit to say. I knew that going in before I pissed you off. So I was prepared. I got you out of the way early.
I literally put the phone on mute and I sat here for about.
See,
You hear me talk for hours. I had to cool off.
I know.
But you got me.
Yeah, and like, I'm used to pissing off Lakers fans and Kobe fans. But to be honest with you, I was not planning on pissing off Hornets fans. Like, that's a new low for me.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining.
I got Larry
We-
Johnson and
we ain't-
and Lonzo
We
Moore.
ain't pissed off. We ain't pissed off.
No, you
We
got
ain't paying you no
tight.
attention.
Keyonne,
What's
you
up?
heard his
Now
voice,
that Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning answer pissed me off more than that Meth Jason.
Kobe better than both of them. Kobe about better Hornet than both of them, though.
Nah.
How is he not? Kobe took that franchise when Kobe said trade me to. Kobe wouldn't have been Kobe if he stayed in Charlotte, right? So he did that franchise the biggest favor they ever did, right?
I don't get that.
What?
I don't understand.
Them some assets.
So what you mean Kobe wouldn't have been Kobe if you... Nah. Okay.
Kobe came into the league as, you know, and after he was what, the 17th overall. Kobe was an afterthought. Nobody think about Kobe. Kobe would have been Eddie Jones if he stayed in Charlotte.
Dude, no. He would have been I don't know who's somebody that score a lot, but just maybe like Mitch Richmond or somebody.
He would have been Kobe. He was
No.
What?
Nah.
What?
Yeah.
Nah.
That's what we doing now. Dudes don't be dudes if they don't go to. That's what we doing.
So situations don't matter.
No. Not Mitch Richmond. Who's the guy that had the guns?
Gilbert Arenas.
Gilbert Arenas. That's what Kobe. Thank you.
Kobe would have been Gilbert Arenas. Yeah, pretty much.
Because Gilbert was nice for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And
Kobe would have been James Harden.
Exactly. A bunch of points.
Yeah.
Bunch of points.
Yeah.
Y'all stop, man. Y'all stop it, man.
Nah, Gilbert had.
I can't
James Harden.
I can't understand this.
So Kobe
I
went
can't
to Charlotte. You
understand
mean to tell me he would have like, so being in the Lakers with Shaq and Phil, like none of that matters. He would have still had the same type of career if he went to Charlotte, if he stayed in Charlotte.
I mean, he
would have been Kobe no matter where he was because he fucking Kobe.
Agreed.
Well,
defensively,
title,
offensively,
we
prowess.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So like,
How do you figure without the titles? You never know who would have wanted to come and play with Kobe.
People didn't want to come
nobody
play with Kobe
wanted to
in
play
LA.
with Kobe, right? No.
It's like, what are you talking about? Jesus.
I know Cole would have been Cole.
Joe, you messed up on that.
Yeah,
Come
you
on.
walked right into that one.
Nah, man, Cole. Look, how you think Shaq was in LA? What you mean?
Shaq and Kobe came the same
They
year.
came the same year.
And Shaq technically came before Kobe because he was free agent. Kobe was drafted after Kobe signed, after Shaq signed. So come on, man.
Yeah. The whole we won't even revisit that one. He wasn't the best teammate, beloved teammates. You know.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Y'all know,
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Terrence, for a very enlightening question.
That's like 2 hours.
Yeah.
All right.
47 minutes on one. Very good question. You know, I think Terrence might listen to the show if he knows what to ask and keep us talking about his question. So, shout out to you, sir. You apparently listened to the Defy Life Podcast before. Next question.
But it was like this snippet of the week, though. It was like, who you don't know who would have wanted to play with him? Like, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah. Wow. Next question from Jacob. In Rock Hill, South Carolina. We can run through this quickly because I think I already might know the answer to this one. But which of the NFL franchise players who did not sign a long-term deal would you have signed to a long-term deal? Based on all things included. So talent level, position value, age, all that stuff. Le'Veon Bell, running back for Steelers. Ziggy Ansah, defensive end for the Lions. DeMarcus Lawrence, defensive end for the Cowboys. Or LaMarcus Joyner, safety for the Rams. Keyonne, who would you have signed long term, considering what they, what their value is and what you probably would have had to pay them?
You may disagree, but I would have given Le'Veon Bell a 3-year deal. From what I was hearing, he wanted the 14.5. I would have given him 3 years at 14.5. That puts it at $43 million, guaranteed for 3 years. And I think that would have been. I don't see his body falling apart in 3 years. Now, if he wanted more, there would have been a problem. But I don't know if he would have took that or not. But that's what I would have offered. From what I heard, the Steelers offered him 5 years, $80 million,
70.
But they didn't. Was it what?
5 years, $70 million. But now reports are coming out that they only guaranteed, fully guaranteed, $10 million.
Shit! Come on, man. That's disrespectful.
That's wrong. That's disrespectful. I wouldn't have taken it.
Disrespectful. Anyway, dude, I forgot what I was gonna say when you said that, bro. Come on, bro. They guaranteed him $10 million. That's just disrespectful, man. But yeah, I got nothing to say about that, bro. I mean, what do you think? Come on, man. That's like we don't even want you. That's not a serious offer.
Well, that's for one, NFL contracts we don't know. Those, when they say guaranteed, we don't know if that means signing. They just said $10 million signing bonus, which means that's what you get for signing. So then there are other reports saying that the first 3 years were $45 million guaranteed, but in NFL you don't know if that's signing bonus, guaranteed upon after roster bonuses and all, so you don't know. So the $10 million is what we know for sure for signing bonus. But at this point, I would have been better with what you just said, a 3-year deal and be out of it. I'm just not for signing 27-year-old running backs to 5-year contracts.
Yeah.
So, and once it got past, once it got past $12 million anyway, I was like, man, just sign him to the franchise deal, let him walk. I ain't paying a running back. I've told y'all that many times. Or
why they didn't just do a 5-year guaranteed 3 and you cut him at the 3 or restructure? That's what they do anyway. Yeah, I wonder why they didn't just do.
Which is what they offered. They offered a lot in the first 3 years, but I guess he wanted more guarantee. I can't blame him for. At the same time, I can't blame the Steelers for future. 27-year-old running back. So I don't think there's any bad
Can I say
one
more thing?
Yeah.
What sucks about this so much is that as a football player, he doesn't have an out. He kind of has to come. He has to play hard. He has to put up good numbers. Yeah. If this was basketball, he could just say, I'm hurt, and just or do whatever, no, he played. But he has to play. He has to put up.
Yeah. And what's really going to suck is he's going to hit free agency next year as a 28-year-old running back with 400 more touches on his body, and ain't nobody going to offer him $10 million a year. And he going to hate that he turned down this deal.
And it's like the DeMarco Murray, he probably out the league in 3 years. Well, 2-3 years after that.
What they offer him? My phone, my joint dropped. What they offer him?
5 years, $70 million, $10 million signing bonus. But we don't know what the other guarantees were through other years. So essentially $14 million a year front load for the first 3 years.
But that's where he they're not seeing eye to eye right on the guaranteed. He want to walk off with $30 million in his hand, but I can't blame him for it.
Yeah, but I can't blame either side. Like, and you talking
yeah.
about a player who's one bad Saturday night from a year-long suspension.
Yeah.
So
you gotta let that go now. It's been 2 years since he's been had issues. You holding on to the past too long now.
No, you're not though, because the league don't let it go. You know what I'm saying? Ain't like the league is saying, well, it's been 2 years. We're gonna know if he tests bad again, or if he misses a test, he's done for a year.
Could you put that in the contract that you don't have to pay?
I'm sure you could, but would he sign it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let me ask you. You know about these contracts. If a player gets suspended, does that money come off the cap? Is it still a cap hit?
Yes.
Okay.
Suspension, yeah. Suspension stay on it. The only time, my money always stays on the cap. Whether unless you trade him and the contract goes with a player. But otherwise,
you don't have to
suspension.
You don't have to pay him, but it's still a cap hit, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Al, who you keeping?
Yo, it's a terrible list, to be honest.
I was thinking it too.
Truth be told,
I mean, those are the only four. Those are the only four that were franchised and then signed.
I would answer this question way wrong.
I would probably I wouldn't do the running back. DeMarcus Lawrence had a good season, but he's injury. You know, I had to see him do it again. The pass rusher, what was the dude's name from the Lion?
Ziggy Ansah.
Ziggy, he would probably get my vote, but it also depends how much he wanted. Mm-hmm. The safety, probably not, just because I don't have a lot of value in safeties. Yeah. Unless they the best, they the best one in the league. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I'm probably not. Yeah. Or Earl Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at. Probably would be Ziggy.
Gotcha. All right. Gerald, what was going to be your answer to this?
I misunderstood the question. No. I thought he was asking of the upcoming 2019 free agents, who would I try to lock up?
Gotcha.
So
answer that. Answer that.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I mean, I just highlighted three, but it would have been Beckham Jr., Khalil Mack, or Jake Matthews.
Gotcha. Okay.
My bad.
Nah, you good.
That's good.
All right. Thomas Stevens. Did he go backstage?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Do some coke.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm ready to get back on the phone and say, listen here, young blood. Let me tell you something.
Eddie Kane.
What happened now? What's going on?
You don't know nothing about being a star. I'll tell you something about being a star. Le'Veon Bell, Ziggy Ansah, DeMarcus Lawrence, or LaMarcus Joyner. Which of those players would you have re-signed to a long-term deal, Thomas?
Wow. Long term. I guess, wow. Well, could we consider long term 3 years? Is that long?
In the league, yeah.
Yeah, it's football years, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm not going to say I wouldn't have signed Lev to I don't know, 3 year, 50-something odd mil. I would have gave him $28 million signing bonus. I mean, I would have tied him up 3 years. I think he has 3 great years at the top of his game. And of course, like you say, he could be a Saturday night away, but that's mostly every player in the league. Saturday night. Maybe not from drugs, but a car accident. Anything.
Yeah. You
just take risks with those guys, but and he doesn't get banged up, man. He really doesn't get hurt. Very, very durable.
Actually,
but
yes,
Ziggy, what happened?
Actually, yes, he does.
Well, yeah, but that was like what 3-4 years. He hasn't been banged up in about 4 years now, right?
No, year before
Since the
last.
AFC Championship, Championship game.
No, year before last, playoffs games against the Patriots. He
2015.
That was 2015.
No, year before last, playoff game against the Patriots. He left that game with a hamstring injury.
In the first half, right?
Yeah.
In the first half. Okay, yeah. I remember that.
Injury.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Had escaped me.
2015 was suspension then, right?
2015 was suspension. 2014 was when they were playing the Bengals in the regular season, and Reggie Nelson almost put his knee backwards. And
I remember that on the sideline.
So
on the sideline.
Yeah, and then his rookie year, he missed the first 4 or 5 games due to injury. So last year was his only year where he played a complete season due to either injury or suspension.
So this is his 5th year, right?
Nah, Jay, I have to correct. 2013, he played 13 games.
Okay.
In 2013. See, you hating on this man.
I said he missed 4 or 5 games. Okay, I'm sorry, he missed 3. Is that better, man? I told y'all everything I say, Keyonne gonna have a problem with it. I told you. Everything I say for the next 90 days, Keyonne gonna have something to say. Sorry, I pissed you off, sir.
You done missed half the season.
No, I said he missed 4 or 5 games. So he missed 3 games. I'm sorry, Keyonne. Are you happy? Gina. Are you happy now, Gina?
So he's missed about 7 games throughout his career? About that?
A little more than that, because that 15 he only played 6 games.
Get on Pooh about him misquoting numbers and shit now.
No.
No. The difference is Pooh asking a question. You making false statements. That was a question. You say, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm asking a question. I'm not talking sports out of my ass.
Like some people I know.
Says the guy who didn't know Tim Duncan played in the 90s.
Hey, but I'm gonna go ahead and stick it out. I'm gonna go ahead, since I started with Lev, I'm gonna go ahead and stay with Lev because I know Ziggy. I know he's hurt every year. I don't even know if he ever played a full season. If he did, maybe once. Joyner, I mean I like Joyner and Lawrence.
I like Joyner too.
Lawrence, I just hadn't seen enough from Lawrence. So I guess as the guy I know that's going to produce, Sunday in and Sunday out, as long as he's out there, I'll go ahead and go with Lev Bell.
I think we all agree. The Steelers may have made a mistake, but no, I give them props for sticking to their guns. Then, if this is they don't value the position, then don't pay. So,
but I don't think that's you offer him $14 million a year. That's damn near twice what the second best highest running payback. They value the position. He just values himself a little higher than they value.
But that $10 million signing bonus,
that's
a slap in the face.
Exactly.
That's a
spit in the face.
Actually, it's not, because when you hear guaranteed money, that's not signing bonus. Like when you see dudes get $30 million guaranteed, unless they're quarterbacks, that's not signing bonus money. Signing bonus, you just get that on the spot for signing. Guaranteed money is like guaranteed.
Yeah.
Is basically like there's different kind of guarantees. $10 million signing bonus is not that bad.
Now you said to me $10 million guaranteed,
right?
That's what you said. That's literally what you said.
Yeah, you said guaranteed.
No.
And then you said we don't know if it's signing bonus or what.
No.
Yeah.
It's what I'm going to say. The $10 million they offered him was signing bonus.
Signing
bonus.
Well, what was the guarantee?
We don't know. That part hasn't been released yet. But I guarantee you at some point it will, because all that's going to happen is all these details of the contract are going to start coming out, because the Steelers want everybody to know how greedy Le'Veon Bell is, right? So they're going all these details of the contract. Oh, we offered him this much. Somebody in that building is going to start leaking those details, so everybody can side with the Steelers. Of course, that's just how it's going to work. So we'll get all these numbers eventually.
Well, let me ask you this, Jay.
14 different reports.
Since you heard that the $10 mil was signing bonus, so I guess could you go out on the limb and probably say it was about $30 mil guaranteed though, out of those first 3 years? If you had to make a guess about around about 28 to 30, something
Yeah, I
like
would
that.
venture to say that. Yeah.
And that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Not. And so yeah, I mean, I've heard, and again, I don't know what kind of guarantees these are. I've heard that the first 3 years of that contract were the first 2 years of that contract were $30 million guaranteed, and the first 3 years were $45 million in salary. But I don't know how much. Like, I don't know what kind of guarantees they were. But again, in 3 weeks, Stephen A's sources will let us know what kind of guarantees.
Right.
So, all right. So, thank you, Jacob. Again, man. Like, y'all keep the questions coming. These are really fun, and y'all hitting us kind of early with these NFL questions. We ain't really prepared for this yet, but they fun. But you know, kind of shallow right now because it's downtime in the NFL. So, thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Terrence. So y'all, keep hitting us up. Hit us up at info@godefylife.com, or comment on something. Shoot us a message on Facebook, whatever. What were you saying, Gerald?
They're excited, man. It's that boring time of year.
Baseball.
I heard somebody say baseball is the fluffer for the NFL.
Yeah. The American League won the All-Star game tonight.
Oh, there was an All-Star game tonight?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought baseball was on strike.
Oh, damn. What are you talking about, man?
Y'all crazy.
How many hits Tebow had?
Hey, they saying he
Hey, Tebow balling.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I heard.
Man,
I heard.
y'all believe that crap if you want to.
I went and
Nah,
watched
that kid played on the Yeah, he played on his AA baseball team All-Star game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually like he's
I
game.
know, but
He's back, but it's like he gonna be an old man sitting back saying I did it all.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can't nobody-
Just didn't do it all very well, but he did it all.
Well,
But no, I mean, I'm saying like.
That kid may not never play in the majors.
He won't. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, yeah.
I don't know about that.
I said might. I said he might not never play.
Tebow's what? How old is Tebow now? I would guess maybe
He gotta be
32.
29. He gotta be 29, 30, something like that.
Yeah,
Y'all think
early
he's that
30s,
old?
I would think. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me Google that.
He's 30.
He's 30. I was about
Yeah,
to say, I
he's
would say
87.
28, 29. Okay, 30. Okay.
Yeah, Tebow's 30. I ain't gonna say he'll never get called up for the majors because it's baseball. They do all kind of kooky stuff. They probably pull him up for like bobblehead night or some shit.
A few games. Yeah.
But
Lakers pulled up Ingram. So, I mean, Tebow got a shot.
True.
Andre, yeah.
I don't even know the kid's first name.
Andre Ingram.
Me neither.
Ingram. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not Brandon Ingram. You know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm scratching my head.
I knew he wasn't about Brendan Ingram.
No.
All right.
But But I mean,
If everybody on the roster get hurt, then they might pull it back.
No, man, they really considering bringing that kid up.
But
Yeah,
that's,
really are.
but that's what they want you to think. They ain't really considering bringing Tebow up, man.
They not. It's just to sell tickets or whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't say that they won't because there's all kind of reasons to bring him up. The Mets suck, and
That's it.
If they bring him up, he definitely gonna draw a crowd. So
That's it.
yeah. So I ain't gonna. Yeah, I can't disagree that they ain't gonna bring him up. They probably will at some point. He'd be like 36 and selling tickets.
Sure. Remember this guy.
Yeah.
Remember this guy, Tim Tebow.
Exactly. He'd be out there throwing jump passes.
You know.
Yeah, man.
I actually had
Put them
forgotten.
out the playoffs. Like, you can't. This dude's the man.
I had forgotten that he was even playing baseball.
Yeah.
Wow.
You thought they was on strike too, huh?
Nah, I knew they wasn't on strike, but
Okay.
Tim Tebow's an afterthought in my sports world.
I understand.
The great Tebow. Well, how long before Tim Tebow ends up in the NBA?
He may try it, man. He's a fierce competitor.
Hey, he might. Just so they can give us all this fluff about, hey, Tebow might be the greatest, the greatest 3-guard ever. They be making up positions for Tebow, man. The greatest 4-guard that ever play in the league. He's a winner. He might push the Cavs over the top this year.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Well, Keyonne, I'm gonna lead with you for this question because I'm very interested in hearing your answer. Right. So there have been a rash of WNBA players come out this year after LeBron signed his contract with the Lakers, and just say, "Oh man, essentially it must be nice to get all those hundreds of millions of dollars. We just want $1 million. Can we get $1 million?" A friend of the show, Asia Wilson, has been one to speak out. What are your thoughts on this? You think WNBA players? I mean, of course, dollar for dollar, they're not going to get, equal pay to NBA players, but percentage revenue maybe should be equal. What do you think?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. Like I speak, I say stuff, y'all, cringe or whatever, but it's like the reality. Ain't nobody on this show looking at no damn WNBA games more than highlights or maybe more than 3 games a year. Between everybody on here now, can't nobody honestly sit here and say they watch more than 5 NBA games, WNBA games a year, from tip off to end of the game.
To 5 games a year.
Al, I think I'm calling bullshit. Is that true, Al?
Not this season.
Right,
Not this season.
Exactly.
But I have gone.
Yeah. I used to be skinny.
I just did. But
check these out.
I've gone to maybe not 5 in a year, but I'm sure I've gone to 3 to 4. 5 might be a stretch, but I'm sure I've gone to 3 or 4 in a particular season.
My point is the WNBA. I think big.
More than I've gone to see the Sorry Hawks.
Well, they are bad. That's valid. They're bad, so they're not drawing crowds. WNBA going to the championship, they still ain't drawing crowds. The girls, the women, no one. I don't want to say no one, but people not wanting to see. They're looking at the big 3 getting bigger crowds than WNBA. It's just like I don't know. The question about should they get them more money? I don't see how. They are like on welfare. Their whole system is welfare. They're being propped up by the NBA. So we've talked about ways that they could get more people to look at it. I don't know. I just I think they'll always be around as long as the NBA is around because they're treating them like welfare. So it's like as long as the NBA's making money, they're gonna not let them die. But it's just. In general, people don't want to look at that. Yeah, it is what it is.
So, Gerald, now that we know that Keyonne does respect women, what do you think about WNBA?
Man. Tennis?
So.
Brace yourselves, folks.
This is an interesting topic, right? So I honestly don't think that I disagree. I don't think that no one wants to see the WNBA. In fact, if you like, they're just in 2017 for their 2016-2017 season, they just had the highest attendance spike they've had since since 2010 or 2011. Like, so they average almost 8,000 fans a game, which to not be the NBA, there are some teams in the NBA that average around 11,000 fans a game, so that's not, that's pretty much a lower bowl. And that's pretty decent attendance for those markets that do have cities. And when Charlotte had, that's how I know Don Staley. You know, when Charlotte had a team, you know, we went to WNBA games. You know, so they're in there. You know, so I think that they can definitely clean up a few things. So while I don't think they're, you know, just because the math doesn't work right now, and they have to find a way to make it work. I've got some statistics, for instance. You know, Asia Wilson, who was the number 1 pick, her salary for next year will be $52,564 for playing the next season. Most rookies will make somewhere in between that and $41,200 a year, which, you know, that, I mean, you can go to work and make that, you know, so, you know, while as opposed to the average NBA rookie will make $560,000 in a season. The MVP, Sylvia Fowles, made $109,000 last year, as opposed to Leandro Barboza, made $500,000 last year, despite being waived from his team in July.
That's what I was about to say. I'm shocked. Because I didn't know Leandro Barboza was still in the league. Wow.
Yeah. So now there are some math behind that, whereas the NBA, they revenue share at 50%. 50% of the NBA revenue is reserved for the players. Whereas the WNBA, only 25% of the revenue is reserved for players. And they only play 34 games in a regular season. So there are some, you know, if you wanted to just give it the NBA format and say, hey, let's just give them 50% revenue sharing. I guess you can just double everything, all those numbers that I said before. But still, I think the bigger issue, you know, is they don't have the revenue. They don't get the marketing, the TV deals. They don't play as many games. There's a lot of you know, disadvantages that they have to where they could, you know, maybe ask for a different deal. I think some of those things will be worked out. But to say, can we get $1 million? I mean, you know, I don't know what the revenues are, but you know, I think that's, you know, it's tough. I think they definitely have a point, but I don't think they'll ever make, you know, what the guys make, just because there's so much money in what the guys make.
So in short, good luck, man. Thomas Stevens, what do you think?
Man, that's definitely tough. To be honest, I really never even looked at the WNBA salary. I thought they were making money.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah. Until I looked at the article, maybe not millions upon millions of dollars, but at least, you know, a few $100,000 and over a span. I was thinking over a span of a contract, like 4 years, they would maybe accumulate $3.2 million. You know, I had no idea they had to work. You know, they had to play, you know, 15 years to make $1 million. Yeah. You know, that's insane. Yeah, that's insane for the average WNBA player to make $45,000.
That's just the rookie. That's the rookies.
That's the rookies, but still, it's a lot of them. You know, until recently, a lot of them still double dipped and played in Europe still. Well,
right,
you know, overseas.
Yeah,
make ends meet. But yeah, Al, you agree? This ain't happening. They need to. I've heard some people say they just need to be grateful. They're funded by the NBA anyway. They just need to be grateful at this point. Like,
wow.
Yeah, they need more money.
They work extremely hard.
Yeah,
and they put in a lot of effort in their craft. And the best in the world in terms of females and what they're doing. These are women from all over the world going to play in the WNBA. You know, I'm a WNBA fan. Daughter played high school basketball. A T, you know, former player with the Dream, friend of mine. You know, friend of the show. So a lot of love for the sport. But the reality is they don't have the popularity at this point of their the career. I mean, they're still a pretty young league, you know, and as you look at it, but they don't have the popularity and are generating the revenue to support like the big salaries. I would be a huge advocate for them getting equal percentage to, or at least a greater percentage to the WNBA. I mean, as moving it closer to the NBA. I think I don't think it's fair just to be like, since they got 50%, we get 50%. Like, you know, that league and those players have negotiated a long time. You know what I mean? They have a lot more history. So I can understand if the WNBA is also pushing back, saying, yeah, let's move it up, but we can't necessarily go there. You know what I mean? So I don't expect it anytime soon, but I definitely appreciate their plight and just really, you know, like to see more people support the sport.
Let me ask this, and so one of the articles I'm reading now is saying that they compare WNBA after 20 years to NFL or NBA and MLB, and their numbers are actually comparable to all those other sports. Who do you think is going to be bigger in, let's say, another 20 years, MLS in the US or the WNBA? Which league?
I think
MLS.
the WNBA personally,
Okay.
just because I don't think the MLS has a huge shelf life in this country. Even though there's a following, they're not the best sport in the world, the best league in the world. And I think, I don't think that my expectation for a league like that isn't high.
Yeah, and
I disagree.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree too.
Really?
Well,
I think I do. I disagree. Simply because soccer is in a class by itself in terms of a sport, and it's easily the most popular sport on the planet, and I think that, and they look to expand that league. You know, so I heard the new owner of the Panthers the other week, unsolicited, say twice that he wanted to bring a Major League Soccer team to Charlotte. You know, so I just because of its worldwide popularity, the fact that a lot of parents and a lot of communities think football is dangerous, so they're kind of shying their kids to baseball and soccer. I think you will continue to see that sport continue to gain popularity here.
yeah,
here's why
I
I
agree.
agree with Al. One, because we talked about this last week, Keyonne, before, on the ghost part of the episode that nobody will ever hear. It's the greatest 15 minutes in the history of this
Yeah.
show. But soccer leagues from youth all the way up to the MLS do not lend themselves to the best athletes that they would have available, right? They don't cater themselves, don't make themselves accessible to minorities, to inner cities, and to rural areas. And with that comes a shortage on talent, right? And a lower ceiling. That combined with the fact that the WNBA, by default, women have fewer options as far as sports that they can play. There are no football leagues for kids, it's girls. You know,
Well, Jay,
girls have
can
to play.
I rebut you?
After
Go ahead. Don't ask permission. Just snap.
All right, I gotta rebut you a little bit, man. Like, I don't know if you guys are. So you made it a statement, and I have to have a direct rebuttal to that. That's just not the case.
What's not the case?
I don't. The part about the lower leagues of the youth league. Like I play in a soccer league, and there aren't even openings in Charlotte for youth. I'm just saying. I'm making a generalization. if it's like that for
that's
Charlotte,
not a generalization. That's anecdotal. Like you're telling like
it's gotta
story, right? But
here's what I'm saying. You can't bring your kids to Charlotte and put them in a soccer league without a humongous waiting list because every age group, every league is maxed out.
Okay.
And I'm making a generalization that I'm assuming, and it could be a bad generalization, but I'm just saying, like, I think if you take that format to other cities, you'll find a similar result of lots of kids are playing soccer.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is what I'm gonna tell you. You're flawed. One, because that is anecdotal. Two, I just said inner cities, minorities, and rural areas. Charlotte is none of those. And
What?
then you said
Inner city?
Charlotte is as mixed a city as you're gonna get.
It says what?
It's as mixed a city as you're gonna get.
Inner city, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
You need to go to more inner cities.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And
what
I didn't say
Charlotte's
inner
not
cities.
also-
I didn't
said.
say inner city.
No,
I said mixed.
Okay, but you rebuttal
basketball.
me with something I ain't say. I said inner cities and rural areas and minorities, right? So I didn't say nothing about mixed cities and like medium sized cities, which Charlotte is. It's not a large inner city. And then you finished off with if you take that to other places. That's the point. If they did, it might work. The fact is they don't. They don't offer.
I'm
those
saying
things.
that they will.
Yeah, see the thing, like, if you want to just compare like average attendance for like MLS, Atlanta United is like 52,000 a game. Seattle Sounders 40,000 a game. Toronto 20. The opportunity for growth is way bigger in MLS. Your argument is about the talent. Like but it's like it doesn't really matter how good the women players are if people just not wanting to see them play. Like it's like the growth for talent in soccer is it's already here. Like it's huge already. Like they selling out the damn Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Man.
They not even getting half of Phillips Arena to watch them go, and they made it to the finals. They made it all the way to the women's finals. It's just like,
but you asked in 20 years, right? I just don't see
okay.
soccer, and I don't see soccer being sustainable in that way because with lack of talent, and we've seen this with all leagues. You have a lack of talent, it leads to a lack of interest. We've seen this, whether it's lower levels of like, and Al just mentioned that the NMLS is not even the best league of its kind in the world, right? Players have options to go other places and play, make more money, better competition, more prestigious. It's just not. And I'm not saying it won't be around. I'm just saying I think the NBA has more growth. The WNBA has more growth potential because they're getting the cream of the crop in talent, and those players coming into leagues, Americans know those women. They don't know those soccer players in general. Like they don't know a lot of those soccer players. I'm saying Americans, not the world, because we all know that soccer is the most popular sport in the world. It's not. It's far from it in America. So the casual fan is not going to know who those guys are coming into the MLS on a general. They may know a few players, but WNBA, they've seen those girls coming right off of a national championship, coming right off of a tournament.
Olympics.
Yeah. I just think in 20 years, I think the growth potential, given that they have more talent, basketball by nature lends itself to a broader talent pool than soccer does. Now we can say, if soccer changes its ways, maybe so. But I'm saying of what we know now, soccer does not lend itself to the best available talent. It just doesn't. It's a rich white kid sport.
in America, maybe.
Yeah,
I get.
we talking about the MLS.
Yeah, like
Okay, all right. You got to make that
but
clear.
the MLS brings guys from the MLS. It's a whole lot of guys on the MLS that play international.
Yeah, they bring like a lot of Mexicans.
They
bring
bring those guys. Yeah, like
a lot of the players I know for Atlanta aren't U.S.
Yeah, they're not. These aren't Americans.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah, but what I'm saying, but even those international players that, like Alvin just said, the best players are not coming to the MLS. They're playing overseas.
Manchester United.
Because the MLS is not the cream of the crop.
How many fifth best leagues in this country have been successful?
Now, I'm not going to sit here and scream about this because I God honestly don't know why. This is a real question. I don't know. I don't watch MLS. I damn sure don't watch WNBA. But I just don't know where I would think MLS is going to be bigger just based on the energy in the city. Looking at how people are so excited about it. But I don't hear nobody really talking about WNBA. Like they were, and I keep saying they were in the damn championship. And this was just like it'd be on the news, but nobody talk about the MLS. People walk around with jerseys, But I don't know. Maybe they got a rabbit they're gonna pull out of the hat, but I don't see it. But we agree to disagree.
I'm telling you, it's trendy. It's trendy.
Yeah.
I guess we're in Atlanta. Our perspective is the Atlanta phenomenon, which I think surprised.
Yeah.
Like even the Atlanta United people are like,
exactly.
Wow,
Agreed. Agreed.
So I don't know what that is, but I think when you look at the country and our dynamics and the fact that there are women everywhere, there are female leagues everywhere, not just in certain, like all over the country, young girls are watching the WNBA, watching the college, watching the Olympians. And so in the next 20 years, we're going to see even like the Maya Moores are not just going to be one Maya Moore. It's going to be like 5 Maya Moores. You know what I mean? Like the talent has to get better because you look at the young girls playing basketball now.
You can watch them run and do a layup. I just don't think that's exciting.
Yeah, but like, think about when we were 25 years ago. Mm-hmm. You never see a woman dunk. Now there's 4 or 5 women in the WNBA can dunk, right? So fast forward that, 20 more years and the growth. I understand how much the athleticism has grown, the competitiveness have grown. Soccer doesn't have that growth ability because regardless of how good of an athlete you are and how many athletes you have as soccer players, the scores are still going to be 3-1. 5-6 in a barn burner.
And the chances are when that player in this country becomes the Tiger Woods of the sport, he gonna go to the Middle League.
Exactly.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah,
because
you never know.
As the leagues continue to grow, they'll have more money to pay. They can pay them the way they pay that.
Dude, in soccer just now, Ronaldo, 33 years old, kind of old.
LeBron
he just left his team to go to another team. I don't know what he's getting paid, but the team that received him paid over $100 million to Real Madrid, his original team, just so that he can come to our team. Yeah. So that type of money I don't see in the MLS. So if you're the best player in the MLS, why are you not playing over there? You would leave. You're going to leave. They're always going to leave.
Today, because they're printing money right now, they making money right now, and they're just gonna keep making money over the next 10 years. You know what I mean? So, but the MLS, they're making money right now.
Okay.
Not really. They're making money right now, and they ain't paying the players nothing. They just got all these people coming in. So we'll see. And the thing is, you talked about the dunking. It's like. Yeah, they dunking, but they ain't Vince Carter dunking. How long we gotta wait till we see that? Well, I don't think we ever gonna see that.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. But we do know that whatever, like Ronaldo, we just saw the World Cup. What was the highest scoring game in the World Cup? We do know that regardless of what you do in soccer, them scores are still gonna be 2-1, 3-2.
That's your hang up. That's your hang up.
That's your hang up. Soccer fans love that. Soccer fans love that.
Yeah, but like.
A lot of soccer fans don't.
Exactly. Americans don't, which is why soccer's not big here.
It's bigger than WNBA. It is, Jay. I'm looking at attendance. I'm seeing literally. I got it up right now. The attendance is killing WNBA.
But you said in 20 years though, like you keep. What are we talking about?
I think that trend will continue.
That's what I'm saying. So you look at today to see where you think it's going, kind of deal, right? It's like
I'm saying it won't. Like
Okay.
yeah. Like,
For instance, the whole conversation that started this was talking about salaries, right? How the WNBA, their salaries are stagnant. They ain't making no money. And just this past year, MLS increased their average player salary by more than 8.5%.
They're making money. The league is making money.
Yeah, it's growing. They're making
now, the USFL was making money at one point. Like we talking what you said in 20 years.
I guess the difference between that is USFL had a big ass competitor with them. Like they got gobbled up by the NFL. Like this is it. MLS is it. Unless another soccer league comes up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're competing against another soccer league kind of.
Yeah, but at some point, like this is what Al just said. At some point, the MLS is not going to have another league eat it. It's going to eat itself because your players by that growth, that short-term growth, and that boom. If your players start feeling themselves, they're going to say, "Well, shit, I'm a star. Why the hell am I in the 5th best league in the world when I can go across seas, wherever they're probably from anyway, and make 10 times as much money and be treated like kings?"
Because here's what you're forgetting. Here's what you are forgetting. Every sport, all of our major sports, those kids, I won't even say all. Here's what I'll say. Don't forget, it's a whole lot of Division 1, 2, 3, 4 schools that all have soccer teams. Those kids gotta go draft. Those kids gonna go. The MLS gives those kids an opportunity to go play in that league. So yeah, maybe super all-star John whatever, who just scored 1,000 goals in a season. Yeah, maybe he is going to go play for Real Madrid and take a $100 million contract. But then they're going to draft Jacob Washington from Towson and replace him. Like there is a pipeline of soccer players because we have a whole country of colleges. They all play soccer.
Yeah,
but Gerald, those colleges they also play women's basketball.
Exactly.
So that same pipeline is coming of women's basketball. Hold up. The difference is with the women's basketball, that pipeline, the talent isn't escaping. Exactly. So as this pipeline continues to produce more and more great players in soccer and female women's basketball, both of these pipelines are going to be producing more and more better players. The better players in soccer, though, will leave the game, leave the league. In women's basketball, this league should get more and more stocked, and the talent should only increase, hopefully getting more and more people to want to watch it.
All comes back to talent.
I'm rooting for the WNBA. I really am.
I'm not.
I just disagree that it's going to be.
On that note,
I just disagree. I just disagree that it's going to end up bigger than soccer. But all your points are valid. All your points are valid.
Question of the week. Speaking of females. Jesus, Keyonne Small. I ain't even asking you the question of the week, Keyonne. Alvin Glymph.
Yes, sir.
Which female celebrity would you request a hall pass from your wife for? Give me one.
Give you one.
Who you getting your hall pass for?
Probably. It's a lot to choose from. That's my only pause.
A lot to choose from.
That's a lot of beautiful women on this planet. So I'm gonna go with.
Don't say Deidre in accounting. I mean celebrities. Mine ain't realistic. You can get me shot.
Right. Let me just tell you for a quick second how in the gutter and sick my mind is before I tell you who my choice is. Just give y'all a little insight into Alvin Glymph's crazy ass mind. My first thought was Michelle Obama. and it was like, yo, you know the type of legend I would be to have slept with Barack Obama's woman. Yo, people would he's a so anyway.
Yes,
so I'm going with Sanaa Lathan. I kind of like her too.
Okay, nice. All right. Gerald Hedrick, your hypothetical wife. Who you asking for a hall pass for?
Oh man, I got a list, dude. Like I
pick one. Once you get married, you'll realize you don't get a list.
I don't get a list.
Nah, she gonna take all that shit away. You just get one. She gotta make you count.
Oh man, I don't want to say the usual suspects. I kind of got a little crush on that WNBA.
Hello?
God Diggs?
You mentioned WNBA's phone cut off.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I didn't do it.
You sure?
And by the way, we gotta make this quick. We got 15 minutes left on recording time, so we still got to do trivia. Oh yeah, MLS.
He gone.
They didn't cut Gerald off. They was mad. He didn't say MLS player. Wow. Keyonne, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you could tell. I was good with it, man. How about Kerry Washington?
Okay. Not bad.
Oh, bum ass husband. That nigga. I think about it, I get upset. Yo, he's a bum.
How was he a bum?
Cause he's supposed to be like on the super team, and it's like that nigga I don't know what happened to him. I mean, yeah, as an athlete, I'm stuck on the field now. I got nothing to do anything else. He's a bum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
like,
yeah.
Now
I'm the awesome one. I'm talking about for those that don't know.
Yeah. Nami got his own production company. Pretty good actor now.
Yeah.
He does.
I guess. I'm talking about football.
Yeah, but he wasn't a bum. I mean, he wasn't a bum, man. He just got paid a lot of money and didn't live up to it. But he
stole from them. yeah, that's
he had
it.
to earn it, like to get it.
You should have divorced him.
Out in the Raiders. Jesus, you're hateful tonight.
You should have divorced.
What's wrong with you, Gerald? You back? You gotta get some joy on the phone. What? All right. Well, guess Gerald. Wow. All right. So Sanaa Lathan. I guess Gerald was rolling towards Scott Diggs. That's what I get him.
Yeah. Yo, was Sanaa Lathan the one that bit Beyonce? Which one was that? Was that her?
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I ain't hear about that.
Yeah, she bit her in the face.
Why?
That was the rumor. I mean, she denied it, but
Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, you guys just Google it.
I think I heard the beginning of that story, and I never finished it. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I think I would have to go with, based on like now, I got to go with Marla Negra. That's what I'm rolling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who that?
She's like a Latina artist, but she's like a Afro Latina. So
what's her name again?
Amara La Negra. So you've probably seen her before. She got a big ass afro sometimes. And, she's like a Latin musician, but she's like Afro Latina, so she looked like a black chick. So yeah, all the way.
Leave it to Jay to go left field. I never heard of this person. I'm Googling and I'm coming up with Marlon's Trigger. Like
just type in
autocorrect on Google.
Negra.
Nah, nothing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Negra,
I got Omar lacrosse. I'm getting all kind of other shit,
I'll
man.
send you pictures. So.
Yeah, do that. Do that.
All right. Well, while I'm doing this, you ready for some trivia?
Yeah.
Guess it's just me and
Nah.
you, Al.
Okay,
Alright.
yeah. Everybody gone. So
Gerald's phone died.
I was prepared to go 5 rounds, but since it's just 2, I'm gonna shorten it. So I'm about to take off. Okay. So let me tell you what. This is what we're gonna do. I got 5 categories. And I'll let y'all pick. Let's pick 3 categories. Since it's just 2 people. So Jay, you get to pick, and then Al pick, and then you who won last week, right? It was Pooh. Who won last week? Al? Won last week.
Wasn't me.
Maybe it was. Fuck, I don't remember. Jay, give me. Huh?
Who won?
Pooh. I'm gonna say Al because they always say I cheat. Give me a number between 1 and 10.
8.
8. Okay. I said, Jay, give me a number between 1 and 10.
7.
Okay, Jay. See, I had 3 in my head. He did get closer. Pooh, are you there? Are you in? Taking too long. All right, it's just y'all two.
Hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
There you go.
So you
Yeah.
in. All right. Since it's 3 of y'all now, let's go with the 5. Y'all want to do 5 rounds?
That's cool.
Okay, all right, let's go. So here are the categories. Hurry up. Michael Jordan, Wu-Tang Clan, religious prophets, Super Bowl quarterbacks, Kobe/LeBron. All right. We do 3, same thing, 10, 20, 30. Last round's worth double points. And there's a couple in here that are worth like double points, but I'll tell you what you call it, like a daily double kind of deal. So I'm taking pause. So this one's going to be 3 of y'all, 5 rounds. So yeah, this is going to be 5 rounds. Al, you go first.
Let me get Wu-Tang
Okay.
for 20.
For 20. What month did 36 Chambers come out? If you don't know the year, the quarter, what we'll do. I need to either tell me the month and year or the quarter and year.
Okay.
And I just sent you the picture too in the text. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Let me go summer of 93.
I said quarter or month. Summer's not a quarter. Quarter is first, second, third, fourth quarter.
No, I don't. So
Hate to be condescending, but
what quarter would the summer be?
summer could be second or third.
Second or third quarter. But technically it's third.
Okay. I'll go with third quarter then.
You are incorrect. It was November 93.
Okay.
I thought you were a hip hop head. I'm disappointed. So, Jay, you up?
The problem is I was listening to it in the summer though. See?
Oh, you had it early? No.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't make it down to you into November 94. Let's talk about when I was listening. But go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But officially it was November 93.
Wow.
Go ahead.
All right, give me categories again.
Michael Jordan, Wu-Tang Clan, religious prophets, Super Bowl quarterbacks, and Kobe/LeBron.
Fuck Michael Jordan, Super Bowl quarterbacks.
For what?
20.
Okay. This quarterback was born in San Mateo, California. He played football, basketball, baseball in high school and graduated from St. Mary's Cathedral.
Tom Brady.
You are correct. Okay. Football guy. So, Gerald, you up?
Give me Michael Jordan for 10.
Okay. What was Michael Jordan's 3-point percentage his freshman year at UNC?
Oh shit! I don't know that.
Fuck Michael Jordan. Told you.
Give me 34%.
Incorrect. It was 0%. He didn't attempt any threes in his freshman year.
You
0%. All right. This is Al. Al up next. Those put there? Yeah, Al up next.
I'll take Super Bowl quarterbacks for 20.
No, Jay did 20, so you gotta pick another one.
Oh, okay. So I'll do 10.
10. Okay, this quarterback played his high school football at Isidore Newman School. Other notable alumni of Isidore Newman School are Jeremy Bleeks, who was selected first overall by the New York Yankees in 2008, and Odell Beckham Jr. The average cost of tuition is $17,900 a year.
I'm gonna go with
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I need an answer, sir.
I will go with Matt Ryan. I don't know.
Incorrect. The giveaway, man. Odell Beckham Jr.
How's that a giveaway?
Oh, what college did he go to? Anyway,
LSU?
it's Eli Manning. Louisiana.
How the fuck? How is it a giveaway?
Because if you connect the dots, right? So Louisiana,
Yeah.
rich kid went to a private school with that much,
Yeah.
So kind of
Okay.
fit. Yeah, that's why I connected.
Okay. If you'd have said Peyton, I would have gave it to you as well. They both went there. But anyway, Jay, you next.
Super Bowl quarterback, 30.
Okay. This quarterback won 4 Super Bowls. Wait. This quarterback won 4 Super Bowls and 3 Super Bowl MVPs and went to 8 Pro Bowls.
Also, Joe Montana.
That is correct. All right. So no more football questions for you. It's all gone. So Gerald, you up?
Give me Michael Jordan for 20.
Okay. How many championships did Michael Jordan win in high school, college, and pro?
All together?
Yep.
7.
Yeah, good shit. It's good. Yeah, you are correct. He answered that quickly. Of course, he won 1 in college and none in high school. All right. So right at the end of second round, Jay's has 50, Gerald has 10, Al has negative 30. Third round begins. Al, you up?
Let me get Wu-Tang for 30.
6 artists put out albums in 1998. Name 5 of them. And one was had an associate member, so but it's still I counted it.
Method.
Okay.
Ghost. Rake.
Who's that?
Raekwon.
Yeah.
Deck. Inspector Deck.
Okay, that's 4.
Now I just need to get 5, right?
Correct.
I'll go with Master Killer.
Okay, you are incorrect. Ghostface did not put out an album. Correct. It was GZA, Dirty, Red Method Man, Deck, You God, and Raekwon. Ghostface did not put out an album that year.
And neither did Master. Okay.
Yeah, it's correct. So negative 30. Jay, you up?
I'm gonna go Kobe v. LeBron for 10.
Okay. One of these players averaged 30 points per game, shooting 48% from the field in his 5th year. The other averaged 28.5, shooting 46%. Name the in the proper order.
LeBron first, Kobe second.
Correct. You are on it.
once you went over 46%, I was like, that can't.
I should have left that part out. The field goal percentage. Gerald, you up next. They pulling away.
Give me Kobe. What? Give me Kobe and LeBron for. What did Jay just do?
He got 10, so you got 20 and 30.
Give me 20.
Okay. This player played at least 80 games 5 times. The other player done it 3.
Sure. Give me first player. You said 80 games 5 times?
Yeah.
Sure. LBJ.
Incorrect. Kobe did. It's Kobe and LeBron. Kobe played 80 games 5 times, and LeBron only did it 3. At least 80 games.
We got 5 minutes left. So we got to put a move on.
We got to keep going. So we got 2 rounds left. Let's go. Al, you up?
What's left?
We got 30 for Kobe, LeBron. All religious prophets. Y'all scared of that?
Let me get 30. Let me get 30. Kobe and LeBron.
Okay, this player averaged at least 25 points per game 14 times. The other player did it 11 times.
Kobe.
And who's the second one? Obviously, LeBron. You're incorrect. LeBron did it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's negative 30. Jay killing this shit. Jay, you up?
Man, what's left with 10 in it?
Wu-Tang Clan.
Give me Wu.
And religious prophet. Name the first 5 solo albums. In order.
Oh,
God.
In order. Good God.
Damn right. You should know this by heart, brother.
No, I shouldn't.
Let's go in order. The first 5 solo
says
albums.
the guy with all the answers in front of him.
No, come on. I know this is Wu, nigga. I was.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean, I know Super Bowl quarterback.
Wasn't a fan fan.
Let's see. No, it wasn't.
Homeboys with W's tattooed on them, so we would. Yeah,
I know those. I know some of those guys. Let's go to Cal.
Okay.
Purple Tape.
Damn, wrong. Okay.
ODB was second.
That's the exactly.
Yeah.
It was Meth, Dirt, Ray, Jizza, and Goat.
Yo, Al, you hear him say, damn, like he was rooting for him to get the question right?
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
I
God,
was wondering if it was just me. Like, wow. That's how we doing, huh? Okay.
All right,
Obvious
it wasn't
bias.
like that.
Obvious bias.
I expect Jay to know this, but I was disappointed. Okay. Gerald, you up next. This guy on religious prophets, man.
You mean them religious prophets for 30, baby.
This prophet died at the age of 63 in the year 632. Who was he and where did he die?
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's prophet.
Died at the age of 63 in the year 632. Who was he and where did he die?
32.
2 minutes.
632 BC or AD?
AD.
I
gotta go. I gotta do the clock now. I'm gonna do 5 seconds for everybody else. 5, 4, 3, 2. It's 2 minutes left.
Elijah Muhammad.
No, you really are. This is Muhammad is correct, but not Elijah Muhammad. It's just Muhammad.
Yeah, just Muhammad. Who?
Elijah Muhammad died like in the 70s, 1970s.
Yeah, I can't do that. Al, you up next.
Let me get religious prophets for 20.
For 20. What was the name of the place where Jesus was crucified? There are actually 3 places, but you can just give me one of them. It's 3 names, kind of, but you can give me one of them.
On Calvary Hill.
Okay, yeah, good. I'm proud of you. You killed it. You got the religious question.
I got that. What were the other?
Right.
What were the other answers?
It was Calvary, Jerusalem, and Golgotha, which I didn't know until today, but it means the place of the skull. That's like the actual area, like Skull Hill kind of thing.
We got 30 seconds.
Jay, last question. You win this anyway. This prophet was born and don't even worry about it. It's a long question. Jay, you win anyway. 50, 40, 70. Gerald came in second.
Well, it's been real. We got 15 seconds left. No part shots. So thank you for listening. We'll talk to everybody again next week. Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.